Hey, hello there everybody. How are we all? I am sensationally well. Thank you for asking. Much love to you all. Thank you to Stu, the Viking Bear President, for becoming a member on the YouTubes before we even got going. God bless you. How is everybody? I hope we're well. I most assuredly am. I am, I promise you. We've got a little bit of Britbonga action. We've got some American action. We've got all of the things action. Yeah. How is Helena streaming again? She streamed earlier, didn't she? God, she works so fucking hard. She puts me to shame, in all honesty, but there you go. Hang on, if she's watching PMQs, is there any point in me doing PMQs? Probably not, right? Is she watching PMQs? She is literally watching... Actually, is this PMQs? Yes. Hang on a minute.
Regime. Mr. Speaker, what comes next is far from certain. We've been talking to regional and global allies to ensure that it is a political solution that protects civilians and minorities and absolutely rejects terrorism and violence. Mr. Speaker, this morning I had meetings with ministerial colleagues and others. In addition to my duties in this House, I shall have further such meetings.
Absolutely, Kevin. I would love to watch PMQs together. Ready for our question time tomorrow. Shoot me a DM with the link, and we'll put that on pause whilst we wait for Kevin to come in. We can do PMQs together.
Okay, well we'll do that then. You heard the lady. Right. Well, whilst I set that up, then, everyone, you can go and follow. No, just SMTG, obviously. You can follow me. You can give me money in the various ways. You can become a member here on twitch.tv/KFLogan1875. You can give memberships to the community. You can become you can subscribe with Amazon Prime. You can do bits messages, 200 bits or more gets you a text to speech. You can do super chats via the Streamlabs link below. Patreon, PayPal, Discord, Blue Sky, TikTok, Instagram, Threads, I think that's it. Hello there, YouTubers. You can become a member for 99p. You can give memberships to the community, and you can do super chats, which I will read out, especially if they are filthy. Beep. Hang on. There we go. Yes. So, now we wait. I didn't know she was... because I thought she'd streamed earlier. I'm sure I saw her streaming earlier, so I didn't think she was streaming tonight. It's better if we try and dovetail, you know? Because we've got much of the same audience, right? So, like, it's pointless always streaming at the same time. Is the background what happens if you buffer Dolphin, the characters what the fuck? I don't know what the fuck that means, but I appreciate your effort in asking. Howdy doody.
Hello, Kevin. How are we?
I'm very well, thank you. How are you?
Oh, I'm doing marvellous, actually. I'm doing pretty good.
Good. Yeah, I didn't realise you were streaming now, because I thought you were streaming earlier.
I was going to stream earlier, and then what was it that got in the way from me? Because I definitely was going to stream earlier, but you had to go shopping actually, and my brother was only free then specifically. So.
Oh, okay. Well, anyway, it doesn't matter. I didn't know you were around, and I thought, well, if I'm because I literally just went live. I don't know how long you've been live.
I literally just went live as well.
Okay, yeah. So when we were both going to just watch PMQs separately, and then force people to make a decision. Who do you love more, mummy or daddy? Yes, it is your fucking fault we broke up, you little pricks. Yeah. So I thought, well, we'll do that. And then we can go our separate ways if you want to. I don't know what you're planning after this.
I don't know what else there. I didn't really know much news. There's the puberty blocker ban.
Well, I was going to sort of bring
permanent.
Yeah, I was going to bring sort of bits and bobs of that up as we go along, because again, they're just the Tory party in government. That's all they are.
True. I covered a bunch of the Rachel Reeves austerity stuff yesterday. I don't think there's something else that I particularly had on my mind. Thames Water asking for even more bill increases because it looks like that they have even less liquidity than we thought they did, which is quite funny.
Oh, well, there you go. Well, I'm quite glad of that, because usually the liquid they produce is just effluent. So.
True.
Anyway. Yeah.
Oh, and there's big farmers protest as well.
There was. Well, I was going to cover the Luigi Manifesto and then some Kasparian stuff. So we'll do PMQs and then part.
That sounds like a good plan, yeah. And you can do your Yankoid stuff, and I can do my Britbonger things.
Yes. You were on Navarra earlier, apparently.
I was. I got to debate Michael Walker about the puberty blocker ban, which was interesting.
Oh wow! How badly did that go?
I mean, it went okay. He sounded more devil's advocacy rather than genuine. So.
Okay. Well,
or not, or you know what I mean. Asking questions for the sake of asking questions, rather than.
Well, I mean, it still sounds cancerous. Yeah.
It went okay. It went okay, and I thought I made a really good case as well.
Okay, good.
Prime Minister Andy MacDonald. Number one, Mr. Speaker.
Whoa. Andy MacDonald's Prime Minister now.
I know. When did that happen? And why is he sat all the way over there? Or just unbelievably poor editing from the UK Parliament YouTube page. Either way.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Can I start by welcoming the fall of Assad? The people of Syria suffered for far too long under his brutal regime. Mr. Speaker, what comes next is far from certain. We've been talking to regional and global allies to ensure that it is a political solution that protects civilians and minorities and absolutely rejects terrorism and violence.
Protects minorities on the day that his government announced that they were specifically targeting trans kids. Because again, those puberty blockers are going to be available for cis kids.
Cisgender, yeah.
Yep, that's fine. As well as, of course, doubling down on fuck migrants. But you know, we want to protect minorities. Cool.
It's literally. Did you see a couple of polling, right? It shows that since Labour have adopted the anti-migrant, anti-benefits position on these things, both of the support for being anti-migrant and anti-benefit amongst Labour Party voters who shot up, immediately shot up overnight.
Well, because they're a team sport people. That if their team came out and said, we're going to start mincing poppies, the support for mincing poppies would go through the roof.
Exactly.
Because Super Tansky would release a video going, fucking Tories don't want us to mince puppies. It's an outrage.
Cockwombles.
Yeah.
Yeah, the cockwombles on the opposite benches don't think that puppy mincing is particularly forensic.
Yeah, true. Bunch of wankers. Anyway.
Mr. Speaker, this morning I had meetings with ministerial colleagues and others. In addition to my duties in this House, I shall have further such meetings later on today.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. May I associate myself with the remarks of the Prime Minister in welcoming the fall of Assad and the hope now for the Syrian people.
Yeah, can I also add my voices to welcoming Al-Qaeda into power?
So it's also fucked, isn't it?
Awesome.
Oh,
yeah. Like, again, I don't want to seem for a second like I'm supporting Assad because he's a piece of shit, and I hope he, let's say, he stands close to lots of windows and drinks glowing cups of tea, etc. in Moscow. But regardless of that, the people replacing him are probably going to be worse. It's Iraq to electric boogaloo.
I guess we'll see. The thing is, what's frustrating is it's like, oh, why don't you let the Syrian people decide? I'm sorry, but Hayat Tahrir al-Sham, they're a rebel group. They're not like a popular movement that's been elected by a. We'll see. We'll see where it ends up. Although I like to correct you. They're not Al Qaeda. They're Woke-Qaeda. That's what they are.
That is true, actually. Yeah, no, that's fair. That is fair. Much like the Labour Party don't represent the will of, Keir Hardie, the wokeists in charge of Al Qaeda do not represent Osama bin Laden or the Mujahideen, the brave fighters of the Mujahideen.
Exactly. Hayat Tahrir al-Sham are, quite frankly, have been infiltrated by Western influences that are trying to, which are undermining the Caliph. I don't know. I'm
it's good that the name ends in sham, because that's exactly what they are.
Mr. Speaker, since it returned to Labour control under Mayor Chris Cook, Middlesbrough Council has not only been taken out of government intervention in terms of children.
Interestingly, in Birmingham, we had 2 Labour councillors become independent over the course of the weekend because of Labour's the plans. They're essentially, they're sort of stuck between a rock and a hard place because the national government, including the now Labour national government, aren't doing anything to help us. So we're in a lot of debt, etc. And so they're going, shall we shut all of the libraries? Having done a consultation with the public, and the public said, don't shut the libraries, they're just going to shut all the fucking libraries. So basically, you can have the Birmingham Central Library, and that's it. Pretty much.
Did the council tax increase plebiscite go through?
They didn't need to in the end. There's a part of the law that allows for that to be overridden if the Secretary of State allows for it.
Wow.
So we're not even going to have a vote. It's just going to happen.
Jesus.
Don't you love democracy? It's fun.
We're looking forward to what happens at Birmingham council elections next time. Honestly,
Labour are going to get fucked, and it's partly their fault and partly not their fault.
Yeah, a lot of the Labour councils probably just be better off just standing again as Greens or independents.
Yeah. That genuinely is, because that ggets into the local press, like, I'm standing with the people of this area, which, like, when it comes to council elections, is worth its weight in gold, right? Because no one likes the council, but everyone likes people supporting their local area, so go for it. And secondly, if you have the red rose next to your name, you are going to be, cancerous electorally.
It's gonna hurt.
It's going to hurt a lot, yeah. Although no one wants to vote Tory anyway, so it's going to be a toss-up. Like, there's going to be a hung council, so to speak. But no one's going to have overall control, I don't think.
No.
Children's services and a best value notice, but is also on track to becoming financially stable. I know the Prime Minister will want to join me in congratulating Mayor Cook and the Council on its recent successes, but after 14 years of Conservative austerity, can the Prime Minister confirm that the spending review will not simply end, but will unwind austerity and provide the resources councils need to properly serve our communities?
Well, I'll answer that question for you, Andy. No, he can't give you that assurance, because he's literally planning to do the thing that Nigel Farage wanted to do. Do you remember Nigel Farage's fantastic plan for cutting 5% from all government departments at the election? And everyone went, that's batshit insane. What kind of crazy austerity nonsense is that? Oh, no, that is literally
Labour policy.
That's literally just what they're going to do now. So the way we defeat the far right is to just become the far right.
You know, things not just copying their social policy platforms, but also copying their economic ones as well.
Yeah, it's genius. Honestly, like, they're not even Vichy, because Vichy was like a reluctant acceptance of Nazi overlordship. This is like willfully swan diving into the lake of filth.
Have you considered, Kevin, that it's non-issue?
It's not an issue. It's not an issue. It's not an issue at all that she's literally told ministers to stop all non-priority spending.
It's crazy.
I think David Cameron might actually jizz himself to death. He might actually desiccate, so lack of moisture will be left in his body from all the ejaculate.
And all of the Labourites got mad at me when I put a video up talking about how George Osborne had called Rachel Reeves mini-me on him as Ed Ball's podcast. So, well, actually, later on in the podcast, Ed Ball's got George Osborne to change his mind. And I was just like, well, there you go. It's just plain as day. He's yassified George Osborne as our Chancellor.
Yeah, it's fucking tragic. So, like, literally, can any Labour Party supporter, assuming they even exist anymore, because where was the... Did I bookmark the graph? I'm not sure if I did. They're down to 18%, a historic low, 18% approval.
Minus 41?
Minus 41 on the plus minus there. Amazing shit. And they're just doubling down. Let's continue to do more of the stuff that made us phenomenally unpopular. That'll work. Just dig upwards, idiot. You know. But can any Labour Party supporter explain to me, what is it exactly that they're better than the Tories on? What are they doing that, like, how is a vote for Labour stopping the Tories?
Thing is, even the trade unions now, like, the one thing that you immediately would have gotten in response would have been, well, they're giving pay awards to public sector workers that the Tories weren't going to do, even though all they're doing is just implementing the public sector pay review body's recommendations for those, rather than actually giving them good pay rises or whatever. And now what we've found out this week is that they're only giving them 2.8% pay increases in loads of sectors, including education. That's coming out of existing budgets, so they're going to have to find cuts elsewhere to pay for them anyway. And on top of this, they're saying that there'll be no more pay awards to public sector workers without productivity improvements.
Yeah.
It's just the Tories. It's just the Tories.
They're literally just the Tories and nothing more. Anyway, so yeah, we're not slipping into fascism, we're fucking tap dancing into it, apparently.
Prime Minister. Well, I join him in paying tribute to the Mayor and all local representatives across the country who do a fantastic job, even when funding was cut to the bone under the last 14 years of the Tory government.
You are in no position. You are in no position to attack the previous government for cutting things to the bone. You are literally doing this.
Yeah. One of the first things they did when they got in was, let's stop building new hospital bits, shall we? Literally, like, one of the very first things that Rachel Reeves did was stop repairs on, like, hospitals.
Yep, the Boris Johnson's new hospitals plan and investment in public transport, and then took away their winter fuel allowance, universal payment, and this is at a time, and then I went to the budget and said, well, actually, we are going to keep the freeze on fuel duty, having already cut loads of public transport things during a climate crisis.
Yippee!
Woo! Not an issue, though. Not an issue.
It's not an issue. It's not.
It's not. It's just it's an issue.
Yeah. Well, the very pertinent. How are Supertansky and Bowler Hatman handling this? Exactly as you'd imagine them to, because they're shills. Whether they're making money or not is irrelevant. That would be grifting, which is a different thing. I'm not accusing them of that.
I think
they've sold their soul potentially for free, but either way, you're still selling it.
I think there's a difference. I think Supertansky certainly is a shill. I think she will just literally parrot whatever the Labour Party's line is. I think Bowler Hatman is blinkered. I think that he will choose what he reports on based upon what he agrees with. Even when Keir Starmer does something, because I know what Bola Hatman's ideology is. It's very, it's municipal socialism. It's stuff like that. It's not. He's left wing.
It's just, Marxist capitalism. Yeah.
He's just ignoring all of the shit that the government do. He's just literally just ignoring it.
Well, on a practical level,
or self-rationalizing it. Yeah.
On a practical level, that's a difference without a distinction, or distinction without a difference, whatever. Like fundamentally, they're still doing the same shell game of lying to you. But by omission or directly is irrelevant in reality. But either way, yeah, they're just they're hacks at the end of the day. However well intentioned, and I'm sure that by the way they both are well intentioned. They think that this is a good thing. They think that they're doing something positive, but they're not.
And that's what's frustrating as well is that despite my visceral disgust for Keir Starmer's Labour Party, I don't stop reporting on things that I think that they do that are good.
Yeah.
I've spent the entirety of the time defending them over the tax rises, explicitly posting content on my show talking about how businesses should shut up and accept the increase in employers' national insurance contributions, or why for the farmers it's getting ridiculous now. Honestly, genuinely ridiculous. They're just fucking throwing a temper tantrum over paying still less tax than everybody else. I'm just like, come on.
Well, I do hope that we see some prosecutions, because they didn't just plan to do a public nuisance today. They did a public nuisance.
Was it actually a public? Did they block the roads illegally under the Public Order Act?
I think they did. Yes, very much so. We'll wait and see, though. We might have a two-tier justice system in the opposite direction. Who knows? Yeah, exactly. I mean, I've been very positive about their plans. A, to get rid of the Rwanda scheme because it's bad, and B, for the closing of the Bibi Stockholm and things like that. Like, there have been positives to come out of it. And you're like, okay, I'm happy that that's something they're doing. But like, that's even within the context of the fact that their immigration policies are shite and are just playing directly into the hands of Nigel Farage.
Yeah, exactly. It's rubbish. It's just bunch of rubbish. Exactly. Like the things that I can defend them on are pretty small fry.
Yeah.
In comparison to copying Reform UK's budget plans from their manifesto from the election.
Which was unpopular anyway. Look, of all of the things that people were voting for Reform UK on, not one of them was cutting 5% on fucking of every budget department. It was immigration and fuck the majority, fuck the Westminster, right? That was why people voted for them. Not anything to do with their fucking fiscal plans for the upcoming period. No one cares. Their supporters aren't fucking voting for that. You dopey bastards.
Yeah, it's so frustrating, and there's no appetite for this cutback this kind of public sector cutback policy. There's no appetite for it at all, outside of people who unironically retweet Doge memes. Like,
true. Yeah, exactly. What next? He gets fucking Elon Musk over to set up Doge UK.
Oh my god. I mean, unironically, I reckon that will happen. By the next election, Elon Musk isn't going to be relevant because Trump will not be the president and can't be the president in 4 years' time. And we'll have an election, and he'll be pumping money into the Farage campaign, and Farage will promise to do Doge 2 Electric Boogaloo, British edition.
Well, yeah, but maybe he runs as a run-in with Luigi 2.0. So,
I mean, that's a thing that might happen. I think it could theoretically happen. Neither of us have any opinions on that fact.
No, not at all.
We're making a statement that that's a thing that potentially could happen at some point in the future.
Who knows? He could turn into a wasp with the head of a dog. It's impossible to say what might happen.
Exactly.
I don't see the future. I don't see the present. Thank you, Dr. Lewis, for gifting a sub to Face Stabber.
Well, thank you, Periodic Disorder, for the Prime sub, and Jack Meller for another incredibly generous super chat. I much appreciate your continued support. I'm just trying to read what it even says. Just to all protesters, they're a nuisance blocking our roads and should face the full force of the law. Farmers literally filling up the road through Whitehall with tractors. Absolute silence. True.
Also, Jack Meller, one of the most delightful lunatics. He puts more effort into publishing your shit than I do into publishing my own shit. And I genuinely appreciate. I think that's so amazing when people like. I like human passion I think that's a really cool thing. There are people on my channel, like Wayward Historian and various other people, who put more effort into this than I do. You know? Like, I love that shit. It's amazing.
Yeah, Wayward certainly does. It's true. But things, I agree that Jack. I mean, Jack's been absolutely hammering it. I think Jack gets a real lease of life. I saw Jack out campaigning with Liam Mohammed during the election. It was really good to see. I managed to engage people in politics.
Oh, an anti-Semite, nice.
Literally. Thank you for the 5 gifted, Sugar Horse, and the hype train. We're on a hype train, chat.
Fuck yeah!
Please make the hype train go. Do the choo-choo thing.
You should pretend to finger people that are dead, right, and then never become a partner.
Exactly. You can help the hype train go as high as possible to contribute to the immortal science of Ribena communism.
True.
Boosting local government funding by £4 billion, investing £1.6 billion to improve roads. And I was proud to see the work on the carbon capture cluster in Teesside, which will create 2,000 new jobs.
Leader of the opposition, Kevin.
And that'll offset some of the 10,000 civil servants you're planning to fucking fire.
Yay!
Wonderful.
Woo.
You know what we need? Cut off the money supply and make loads of people unemployed. That won't cause a recession.
Almost certainly not. Also, Ben in chat says, read the Cato Institute recommendations for Doge, and it's basically just get rid of all regulations that protect consumers, get rid of all child poverty spending, cutting taxes even more for the wealthy, like, for example, 12.5% corporation tax, and ending the international global minimum corporation tax agreements, and cutting Social Security and Medicare. What a surprise. What an absolute shock.
Indeed. Who'd have thunk it? But, you know, it's only places like Russia and Saudi Arabia that have oligarchs.
True.
We don't have oligarchs, we have wealth creators. Yeah.
I really hate, the Democratic Party, but Lena Khan is just a gigantic gigachad.
Who is that person? What?
Oh, she was the director of the Federal Trade Commission in the last administration.
Oh,
and
right, yes. Okay, right.
And she blitzed through loads of consumer protection laws.
Good. It's pronounced Bad Enoch. Please.
Mr. Speaker, last week the Prime Minister didn't seem to want to talk about...
The Prime Minister? The Prime Minotaur!
appointing fraudsters to his cabinet. In fact, he seemed to want to talk about immigration. So let's talk about immigration. He has relaunched yet again. Many new targets, 6 milestones.
Yeah, let's talk about immigration, because that's not a thing we've ever talked about before, except every single week, ever. I'm glad they've changed their tune and really learned something here. And again, the Tories, you need to get off this train, because it doesn't work for you. You're going to go into the next election saying, we've got the strongest plans on immigration, we're going to literally turn all migrant boats into slurry, whatever, all of that shit. And for us, she's just going to turn around and go, you literally let in 1 million people, you pricks. What are you talking about? And you're dead.
You know how they're going to turn the migrant dinghies into slurry? By sniffing them out.
By sniffing out rubber dinghies. Yes.
The dogs to smell dingy rubber.
They're going to turn migrants into chum for the dogs that sniff the rubber. Fact.
Can't get over it.
It's unbelievable.
I cannot. He said that at an Interpol conference.
And I'm sure the experts there went, is this guy real? Is this guy actually real? Are we listening to this fucking idiot right now?
But why was cutting immigration not a priority?
Speaker, I'm glad she now wants to talk about immigration. Last week she said she didn't, and for good reason. Because the previous government presided over record high levels of immigration. The figures just a few weeks ago, nearly 1 million on net migration. That is unprecedented. A one-nation experiment in open borders.
It really is a massive... It can't be overstated how badly they fucked themselves there. Not only promising to get rid of, or to cut immigration to tens of thousands, and then allowing, like you say, 900 and something thousand. Like, I remember when I was a kid, mass migration hysteria when Blair was letting in like 120,000.
Yeah.
And they let
That's
in
a
nearly
crazy
a
numbers.
fucking million people. That's the city. Birmingham is a city of about 1.2 million. So they let in nearly my entire city.
It's true. And that's the thing is that it's just another kind of part of the perfect storm that's probably going to fuck the Tories forever, because the pandemic happened at just the point when they relaxed the visa rules. So they had like 2 years of visa applications that got delayed because you couldn't come here because of the pandemic. And then all happened and all got approved at the same time in 2022, 23, and then they all came at the same time. And then so this is 1 year, and I guess it's that 2 year period from 2022 to 2024, which had this huge glut where they got over 1.5 million people coming here. And I'm just like, well, sure, you did liberalize the rules on getting here and getting a visa, but they can now point to a very specific figure of almost 1 million people in a calendar or in a financial year because of just the facts of how the pandemic worked out, which I think is very funny to me.
Yeah, fuck them.
Orders under the last government. And she was the champion. She stood up and praised the then Tory Home Secretary for listening to her on removing caps on migration visas. So she was applauding it. Now she's furious about what she was campaigning for. We will drive it down. We will drive down lawful migration. We'll drive down illegal migration.
Mr. Speaker, he talks about...
Yeah, race to the bottom. Literally, Nigel Farage is just sat in his seat cackling. This is exactly what he wants. We defeat fascism by becoming fascism.
What's interesting, there was a big electoral report that came out. John Curtis, I think, released it, and it showed essentially that the Tories can't win the next election unless Labour literally shit it through the bed. The kind of people who would traditionally vote Conservative, most of them are just like dying. Everybody who would be part of the Labour, the cohort people who could vote Labour, they're not going to the Tories, they're going to Reform.
Yeah.
So the way in which the electorate is split and the kind of voting patterns that we're seeing and the levels to which the Tories have screwed their own reputation up over, they're not going to win the next election. They can't do it.
I don't think they'll win an election ever again. I think they've sold their entire raison d'etre has been completely done away with by themselves. They've made it impossible for themselves. And you can tell that from the fact that, like, Tim Montgomery, literally the founder of Conservative Home, joined Reform.
Yeah, because the writing is on the wall. What really
the
kind of
rats
did
are in the sinking ship, everybody.
Absolutely. The thing that really kind of pulled me onto it as well was when Jacob Rees-Mogg was asked if he could see a Reform UK and Tory merger, and he said that he could. And no one in Reform UK has said that. Everyone in Reform UK is still on the line of we're a separate party, we want to usurp the Tories, want to be a new force for British conservatism instead of the Conservative Party. Yet people from the Conservative Party, they're desperate to have an alliance. So it shows you who's in the ascendancy.
Oh, absolutely, yeah. And the Reform, no, it would be the death knell for that party if they joined the Tories. Because a lot of people would never vote for the Tories for a number of historic, cultural, economic reasons. But they'll vote for, like, conservatism, just not this bunch of wankers.
Yeah.
So, like, they would be cutting off their own electoral chances if they did that. So they'd be foolish to. And again, who ties themselves to the sinking ship? No one. If you're literally if you're in the ship that's doing well, you might accept like small boats, ironically, of survivors from the sinking ship, but you don't go, should we tie ourselves to it? Should we do that? No, obviously.
Open borders, he was the one campaigning for free movement. I was in this house asking for a lift on skilled migration. He was there supporting all of the people who should not have been in this country. He wanted us to relax immigration. But as he's so keen to talk about the past, let's look at his record. 4 years ago, the Prime Minister signed a letter demanding that foreign criminals be allowed to stay in Britain. Dozens of Labour and Liberal Democrat MPs repeatedly signed these letters insisting that rapists and murderers be allowed to stay here.
Well, surely the Tories are happy about that, because that would be stocking their backbenchers. No?
It's where they're recruiting their future candidates from.
Yeah. Where are the police going to find the next generation of rapists? Migrants. We don't even breed. You know, we're not even breeding our own rapists in enough numbers.
No, that's what I'm saying. Is that that's because you're too woke, Kev. You're too woke, right? We want honest to goodness white British rapists in our police force. Thank you very much.
True. Sorry, we don't want DEI higher rapists.
Those criminals, Ernesto Elliott had 17 convictions, including for knife crime. After his deportation was blocked, Elliott went on to murder someone. He was able to stay here and murder because people like this man campaigned against deporting criminals.
How the fuck is referring to the Prime Minister as this man? Like parliamentary, but saying someone's drunk when they're actually drunk isn't. What?
Yeah, it's the right honourable gentleman or the Prime Minister, right?
Yeah, exactly, yeah. I think you can also say Mr. such and such or Mrs. such and such. I believe is also allowed. But you can't point, and yet they always fucking point. You can't say this man. Look, you're supposed to... Either we're going to enforce these rules properly or we're not. And that's the problem.
Yeah, just fuck it. Fuck it, turn up in trackies. Don't do away with all of... Just stop standing on ceremony. Fuck that shit. Well,
I love it. It's gotten slightly better now, but I used to love it when I was a kid. You'd have the Speaker of the House of Commons in a powdered wig, knee breeches, like something from a fucking Dickens novel, right? Telling the rest of the country that they need to modernise. Are you taking the fucking piss, mate? You're literally in a powdered wig. What?
Well, it's like having the guy in the diamond-encrusted hat talking about the need for the nation to live within its means.
Yeah, exactly, yeah. Literally sat on a golden throne, telling everyone they need to tighten their belts. Get fucked!
Will he apologise for signing these letters?
Mr. Speaker, I'd firstly remind her that when we're in the number now, under their watch, of migrants coming to this country, nearly 1 million, is over 4 times the number when we're in the EU. They lost control of the borders. And the particular example she puts to me is an example of failure under her government to take the necessary measures to keep our country safe.
Mr. Speaker, this is a ludicrous assertion. He is the one who was repeatedly signing letters. He even asked us to pause all deportations. He asked us to pause all deportations.
Yeah, because you were breaking the fucking law. Yeah. I mean, I don't want to defend Keir Starmer at any point because he's a gobshite, but, like, fair is fair. You were fucking it up, so in order to make sure that all of these cases were done properly, pause it for a moment, take a step back, reassess all of the cases because you were breaking the fucking law. Both international and domestic law was being broken. So as a legal professional, he was saying, let's make sure we get this right, because you can be sued in court and lose lots of public money if you fuck this up. As well as, of course, tarnishing the nation's reputation by kicking out innocent people.
Exactly. And again, all this conversation is doing is aiding Reform UK, because I don't think anyone here is going to take... What people are going to take away from this conversation is, oh, well, both of these parties are shit on migration, because all you hear is just the other party did this, the other party did X, Y from both. Who's there? Who's there scrutinising Nigel Farage? Well, of course, he can't be scrutinised because the man's never held a position in office.
Yeah. And every time he tries to get there's any pushback in the media, he just runs away.
Exactly.
He doesn't want to talk about his past, Mr. Speaker, but that letter is just the tip of the iceberg. There is more. The Prime Minister actually complained that the immigration system was working to deter migrants rather than provide support. He said, and I quote, that he was proud to have served as Jeremy's shadow immigration minister. He boasted that he took the last Labour government...
Jeremy? We're just doing first name terms now, not even, again, the right honourable gentleman.
Just call him the fucking Jam Man. Just call him Jumbly Crumbly Concrete at this point.
Literally Adolf motherfucking Hitler.
To court for cutting benefits for asylum seekers. He said he would never set a target-based approach to immigration. He wants to talk about immigration. Let's talk about his record. We can talk about it all day. I have committed... Mr. Speaker? Mr. Speaker, the Prime Minister says he wants to talk about immigration. I have committed to a cap on migration. Why won't he?
sorry.
Because they don't fucking work.
It's true. There's Ben in chat saying, no, you can counter it by bringing out the line about how the Tories didn't have a joined-up strategy for skills pipelines.
True.
Clearly they weren't. Clearly they didn't have the skills wallet policy.
Skillswallet.com. Let's fucking go.
We're in the swing zone.
Mr. Speaker, she talks about my record. For 5 years, I was the chief prosecutor prosecuting people who went...
Hang on, what's this? What? Breaking news? He was the chief prosecutor.
He was, wasn't it? Jesus Christ. It's almost like you would never have known if you didn't say it just now.
Wow, okay. Well, I have to reassess what I think of this man now. Because there was like a 10-year gap in his CV before, but now we know what he was doing. He was the chief prosecutor.
Busy not prosecuting Jimmy Savile.
True. Defending literal terrorisms.
Actually, no, I remember him. I do remember him being Director of Public Prosecutions. He was the Director of Public Prosecutions when Emily Thornberry wrote an official letter criticising the CPS.
Fair enough.
Many of whom were then deported. So while she's talking, I was actually doing the hard yards of convicting those that should be in prison. And she presided over record numbers of asylum seekers in this country, a record number of lawful and irregular migrants. That is 14 years when they lost control of the borders. They set a cap for each of those 14 years. It wasn't hard, it didn't stop people coming, and it got a record number.
It wasn't hard and it didn't stop people coming. Are you a
it's
fucking...
True.
Are you a Carry On fucking film now?
Ooh, matron. Well, the thing is, what's funny is, well, he let it slip there. He let it slip. He said irregular migration.
Yeah.
Well, no, you're supposed to use the Tory agitprop line by lying and calling it illegal when it isn't.
Yeah. Carry on up the Commons. Let's go.
They should apologise for what they've done with their open borders policy.
Mr. Speaker, he did not answer a single...
Do you want to leave? If you've not got the guts to stand up to the comments, you shouldn't be in here. Let me beg up.
Mr. Speaker, he did
God
not...
is so shit. Say something funny. If you're going to interrupt, say something funny. Call him an incorrigible delinquent. Use some weird Latin phrase and then sit down smiling really smugly. Like, come on. Give me something.
Start singing Beethoven's Fifth.
Yeah.
Do it.
Would you like to go for an early cup of tea?
Single question. He never answers questions. He wants to talk about the past. The fact is, we've acknowledged where things went wrong. He will never take responsibility. He will never take responsibility. The fact is, he has scrapped a deterrent that the National Crime Agency has said we need. Since he came into government and scrapped the Rwanda deterrent, small boat arrivals have increased by nearly 20%. His own MPs are complaining about having to house...
Yeah, because international criminal gangs really care about, like, minor changes to government domestic policy and... No one gives a fuck. That isn't remotely... It's not a deterrent, and it isn't a spur getting rid of it. It's nothing.
No, exactly. And I'm just so sick of hearing about immigration. I know we've said this 1,000 times now, but we've had 4 questions. 4 questions. It's just immigration. There's a fucking cost of living crisis.
Yep.
Can we spoke at anything actually fucking important? Jesus.
Asylum seekers. So can the Prime Minister tell the House how much more his government will spend on hotel accommodation because he scrapped the deterrent?
Hang on, you had the deterrent and you were spending squillions on fucking hotels.
Exactly, and what's going to happen is at the end of this 5-year term, they would have at least funded some asylum processing because that's what the Blair government did. They just copied the Blair government on everything, and so there will be much less money being spent on hotels. And this line going, well, there's hotel increased usage because the boats have gone up. I'm just like, you're the one who put them in the fucking hotels. That's your fault. You did that.
Yeah.
Prime Minister.
Mr. Speaker, I'd invite her to tell us what went wrong under the last government, but it'd take us all afternoon. Mr. Speaker, we are going to smash the gangs that are running this vile trade.
Yeah, he said
We signed a landmark agreement with Germany this week.
Order. Mr. Philp, you've been very loud. I think now we're going to have a little bit of silence from you, Prime Minister.
This week we signed a landmark agreement with Germany. She should be welcoming that, because that will make sure we have the powers to take enforcement action across the continent where it is needed. We've set up the Border Security Command. We've committed £75 million on top of the existing £75 million. We're extending the powers, so they're counter-terrorism-like powers. We've retained 9,400 people who shouldn't be here. A record flight got off. They talk about getting the flights off. They did it for years. They didn't succeed. We got the flights off.
We're way more racist than you.
Yeah, I think it's I can't even say Anglo. I guess you can say Angloid, but I know she was born in Nigeria. You can't even say Angloid then to her either. It doesn't even work anymore.
No, and the alternative is very racist. We don't go there. We don't.
No, we really don't. Hey, Suze. Space. Welcome in, Suze Kempler and Raiders. Welcome in. We're covering Prime Minister's questions because we are gluttons of punishment. I'm here with Kevin Logan. As we do this all the time. Go follow KFLogan1875 over on Twitch as well. You can subscribe to my channel for free, no justice MTV. We talk about UK politics from a socialist perspective 6 days a week. If that sounds like your thing, follow, subscribe, do all the stuff if you want to. And over in my chat and in Kev's chat, you should go and follow Suze Kempner immediately. I am demanding you.
Yeah, Suze Kempner. Hello, Suze. You're amazing. Love you. I've said my piece. I don't fangirl often, but when I do, this is what it sounds like.
I was going to say as well, though, with regards to the discussion over what we just seen there from that last question. There was something I was going to say, and then I immediately forgot as soon as the raid came in.
Well, Suze has this effect on people. She's very distracting.
I can say thank you, Jack, for the 5 gifted subs. They're much appreciated.
And I can say thank you for the 100 bits to Kieran, and thank you, Madcat Scotty, for resubscribing. We're now on a hype train. Fuck yes!
Hey, hype trains all the time. Exactly. Who are you going to finger?
Who was my Bulgarian friend had an had a fascist leader from Bulgaria that they wanted me to finger. Whoever they are, I'll finger that person. I'm fingering a Nazi. Done.
And you can sing the Bulgarian song at the same time.
I don't know what that song is. What is
the
that
one with the TikToks that I showed you from Skibbity. The Skibbity meme.
Oh, fuck that. No, Skibbity needs to die. Oh, it's so fucking shit. It's so shit.
It is shit. It is shit.
Yeah. Although it could be worse. I found a song on was it Instagram or something today about how someone was going to 3D print someone's vagina.
Excellent. Good.
So that's a thing I listened to. It was Lieutenant General Hristo Lukov, a Nazi sympathiser, not a fascist apparently. Well, whatever. Nazi sympathiser or not, his corpse is getting fucking fingered if we get to level 2 of the hype train.
Absolutely.
Thank you, Lord Fritus, for gifting a sub to Vogel. If you want to help me on my Bulgarian fingering journey, bits and subs are welcomed.
Absolutely. You can also drop bits, gets you text-to-speech, 200 bits.
Indeed so.
Gets you text-to-speech on Kevin Logan's end. And if you're watching on YouTube, you can't contribute to the hype train, but you can become a member for just 99p, which of course is cheaper than a can of Red Stripe. And you can gift memberships to your fellow communities, and you can also super chat for have a message that you can read out. Kevin would request for you only to super chat if it's very, very rude.
Yes, exceptionally rude. True. Also, hello, lesbian hot sauce. Everyone go and follow lesbian hot sauce. All of the cool people are in tonight. Let's go.
I've had a Zakat raid already as well. Just gotta wait for James from the internet to finish.
Exactly.
Mr. Speaker, he says he wants to smash the gangs. The only thing he's smashed is his own reputation.
Jesus Christ. Are they going to ask about anything else? Is it literally the immigration is the only issue that exists at Westminster?
Exactly.
Cost of living crisis? No. Syria? No. Israel, Palestine? No. None of that. No. Okay.
I think what's funny is that all the Tories are going to do with this is lose their own voter base to reform. Yeah. Because all that Keir Starmer is going to do is respond by saying, well, hang on a minute. It's like that bit in The Simpsons where Marge gets a gambling problem And at the end of it, it's them walking off into the sunset, where every single thing that Homer Simpson's ever done wrong is, I remember that time I did this awful thing. Well, that doesn't matter because you have a gambling problem. And that's what Keir Starmer's got to be like. Just like, you can bring up literally anything from my past, absolutely any letter I've ever read, but you let in 900,000 migrants in 1 year.
True. Yes. Sorry, I mispronounced it. It's lieutenant. My bad. I went all American with it. I apologise.
We shall have no Yankoid shit in this chat.
Exactly. Woke Yankoid rubbish. Thank you. And that's Mr. Peter Wood. Mr. Peter Wood. Thank you, Jack Meller, for popping over. I don't know if it's the Jack Meller because the A is of number 4. So it could be a Jack Meller ripoff. I don't know.
It is the Jack Meller, yeah.
That is the Jack Meller. The celebrity Jack Meller. Fuck yes.
Would love to 3D print a badge TBF.
Thank you for Bitty Bits. Thank you, Cecil Snake, for Bitty Bits. Much love. Laszlo. Yes, that is true. Yes.
The fact is, what he has been agreeing is not going to do anything. The cost of the Iraq agreement is £500,000. That wouldn't even buy a house in his constituency. Many of the things he's taking credit.
So maybe you want to do something about reducing the cost of housing?
I was just like, the houses in London are really expensive, and I'm just like, yeah, that was your shitty policy. I mean, your party were in government for 14 years and destroyed the housing market. That's your fault.
Literally. Come on now, chat. Surely you want me to finger this Bulgarian.
I wish someone would smash my gangs. Him needs more
okay.
work.
Thank you, Arizal Dave in North London with 300 bits. We've got to level 2. I've got to travel to somewhere in Bulgaria. I don't know where the fuck.
Sofia, let's go.
Possibly Sofia. It could be some other place. I mean, I have played Euro Truck Simulator and I can't remember another place in Bulgaria, even though I've been to all of them.
Me neither. The only place I know in Bulgaria is Sofia.
Yeah.
Answer on a postcard.
Yeah.
Credit for are our agreements. Let's talk about what he put in his manifesto. The Prime Minister promised to end asylum hotels. He promised, he's the Prime Minister now, he promised, but in Altrincham and Peterborough, his government is expanding the...
Altrincham and Peterborough are real places, America.
The return of the sausages.
Wear a glove.
Thank you, Wayward Historian.
Kitty Bong.
With 200 bits. I don't wear a glove. Okay? I wear a human.
The use of asylum hotels because he unilaterally disarmed the deterrent. In fact, Mr. Speaker,
stop pretending to be really posh, right? Deterrent. Where is the fucking U in that word? Deterrent.
It's getting deterrent up in here.
True. Like, it sounds like you've literally got plums in your mouth and you're trying to say the thing. Deterrent.
Deterrent. I think it's just... And it's funny, well, her saying, oh, well, you know how you said you wanted to end the asylum hotels? Well, you're also doing asylum hotels. Okay, so, yeah, what you were doing, you say, is bad. Okay, sure?
Yeah.
Or at least she admits that it's not a choice and it's because of the fact that people are coming here having asylum claims processed, but...
Fair enough. Oh, thank you, Arizal Dave in North London with 5 gifties. Much love. I will help you hide a body. I will be a getaway driver if you ever want to rob a bank. These are things I will do for you because you were generous to me on Twitch.
A man who arrived by small boat told Sky News he was happy Labour were in power. That man said the Conservatives, and I quote, wanted to deport us, but Labour are making the procedure easier for us. He's right, isn't he?
Prime Minister. Mr. Speaker, I really thought she should...
Sorry, why do I give 2 fucks about some random guy?
And also, like, that's true. I mean, if that man had a genuine asylum claim, then yeah, he should be allowed to come here. That's how the asylum system works. Whereas the internationally illegal policy that the Conservative government were trying to do, were trying to deport people with legitimate asylum claims who arrived via small boat. Like, you can't do that. That is an international crime. That's breaking the Refugee Convention.
No, we're allowed to be pointlessly mean to asylogrants. Fact.
Should welcome the Iraq deal. Anybody who wants to deal with this vile trade would have welcomed it. She should also...
Why were people leaving Iraq in the first place? Was there a reason why people were leaving Iraq in massive numbers?
I really hope that no one with any links at all to the current situation that's been happening in Iraq is advising this man, or indeed creating an entire think tank to help him develop policy.
Yeah. Or, you know, anyone who might be supporting him behind the scenes that has connections to Jeffrey Epstein. Maybe.
No names mentioned at all, of course.
No.
Also welcome the German deal that we did this week. Many of the boats that are finding their way to the Channel are coming through Germany. That is well documented. There's
another opportunity to invade Germany? Been a while. Let's fucking go. I reckon we can take them. I reckon we can have them.
There's been a difficulty in taking enforcement action, which if she spent more time researching that than her terrible jokes, she would know about.
I know this motherfucker didn't just have a go at somebody else's sense of humour, did I?
It's embarrassing, isn't it?
God almighty. This guy could take the greatest jokes in human history and suck the joy out of them. Ugh.
And we have signed an agreement to smash and take enforcement action in Germany to stop those boats getting to the coast. That is effective action. She should welcome it. It's really good news. All law enforcement think it's a good thing. Why does she think it's a bad thing?
Because
true, but all law enforcement think that domestic abuse and rape are fine. So, like, I don't know who to trust.
the numbers are going up, Mr. Speaker, under his watch. The Prime Minister has consistently backed criminals over law-abiding British people. He defended terrorists like Hizb ut-Tahrir in the European Court. He argued all immigration...
Again, it's... Oh, Jesus Christ. Everyone's allowed their fucking day in court. As a lawyer, you will have to defend evil people. That's just the way it fucking goes. If they're that bad, it shouldn't be that difficult for the prosecution to get a conviction.
Exactly.
Like,
the whole... I mean, but then again, that's the thing about Conservatives. All Conservatives will just say over and over and over again, we are the supporters of law and order. We support the judicial process being carried out under a liberal democracy. They always tout themselves as being the absolute paragons of law and order. When it's bullshit. They hate the law. They hate due process. They hate all of these things. What they want to be doing is to mean to outgroups. That's it. Whereas it is clear due process under liberal democracy for everybody who is under the who comes under the thumb of the judiciary to have legal defense. Yeah. And yet they'll just say, then they'll fucking weaponize it. They'll fucking weaponize it all the time. Actually, the thing is, they don't want law. They just want order. That's the thing.
Yeah,
whereas
basically,
law,
yes. Yeah.
And when law gets in the way of them being able to enforce order, that's when they have a problem. It's why they have a problem with the lefty lawyers blocking their draconian asylum policies.
Enemies of the people.
Yeah, there you go. Exactly.
Yeah. I just to answer the question, Madcat, I called Dave in Aerosol Dave in North London because they're from North London and that came up once, like 3 years ago, and Dave said that I couldn't pronounce their name or something, and I said I'll just call you fucking Dave then. So they're Dave from North London. That's it. Like, it's very stupid, and there's no, like, I wish I had a great story about it, some clever pun. It's not. It's just me being a belligerent twat. That's literally it. Thank you, Madcat, for gifting a sub to Lesbian Hot Sauce. Much love. Thank you, everyone, for the hype train. I've got to book tickets to Bulgaria. Let's fucking go.
And unfortunately, you'll be standing up because we've got first class seats that aren't full.
Literally true. Yes, literally true. What is? Hang on. Why are you sending me a Google map? That's central. Oh, apparently you literally. Okay. I was wondering why you'd sent me a Google map. That is literally where this man is buried. Thank you.
Oh, there you go.
Thank you for taking this very seriously, as if I'm actually going to do it. That is very... I appreciate that, Phantom of Black, you lunatic.
Had a racist undercurrent. He voted against life sentences for people smugglers. He voted against more than 100 measures to control migration. He even said it was wrong. He even said, Mr. Speaker, that it was wrong when the Conservatives took away Shamima Begum's citizenship.
Yeah, it was an international crime.
Yeah, it is bad. Also, can we just say, like, the right-wing media have been in a froth about how a Reform MP who held his girlfriend down and repeatedly kicked her in the head can be reformed. He can be rehabilitated into society. But apparently a 15-year-old who's groomed into joining ISIS...
Who gets statutorily raped 3 times.
Yeah, and then all of her children die because of the awful conditions that they've been placed in. That person can't. That person is irredeemable for the rest of existence and has to basically stay in a concentration camp for the rest of her life as a stateless person.
Yeah, but we'll happily be able to, clean the slate when it comes to Mohammed Al-Jilani.
Yeah, like it's just grotesque is what it is. It's fucking grotesque.
Appointed her defense lawyer as his attorney general. Mr. Speaker, events in Syria mean we may see more small boat arrivals. For once, will he take the side of the British people and strip citizenship from jihadi terrorists and supporters of Assad who want to come back and destroy this country?
Okay, if we can also strip the citizenship of people who join the IDF. Because they've been doing terrorism as well, haven't they? So
yeah.
If you want to join the IDF, don't come back here. Yeah, cool.
Prime Minister.
Mr. Speaker, I was Director of Public Prosecution for 5 years. Unlike...
Whoa, breaking news!
Oh my God! Just say your dad was a toolmaker. Just do it. Fuck it. It's election campaign season all over again.
Fucking pebble dash me. No.
Anyone on their benches. I was prosecuting for 5 years hundreds of thousands of criminals. That includes huge terrorist gangs, rapists. I was working for 3 of those 5 years with the then Home Secretary Theresa May, who commended the work that I did at the end of those 5 years.
See, the Tory that no one liked me. Vote for me. What are you doing?
Yeah, and also, it's just like, Theresa May was one of those prime ministers, and it was also Home Secretary for 5 years as well, when all of the sky-high immigration was happening that you're now using your platform to criticise.
Yeah, not just that, but having sky-high immigration, but also sending people back under the
hostile environment.
Hostile environment, and sending like Windrush people who are just British citizens who'd like never been to these other places and just sending them there.
Well, Theresa May said I was the specialist boy in the justice system, Kemi, so how about that?
Brilliant. It's giving big what you call it, fucking Liz Cheney vibes.
It is, isn't it?
Yeah.
I mean, she's basically going to be our Liz Cheney, I reckon.
Yeah, because she's literally described herself as woke now.
She has.
What
she said helping the poorest is a conservative value, and I'm just like, you killed 330,000 people in government.
God, she makes my fucking skin crawl. But you know, really Yas Queen, slay, girl boss.
To be fair, she was more pro-trans than West Streeting, so.
Literally true. Although fucking J.K. Rowling seems to be more pro-trans than West Streeting.
So for her to stand there and say, I haven't done anything in law enforcement, I dedicated 5 years...
Sorry, Lynn Cheney, not Liz Cheney. Whatever. I don't know. I don't care.
My life to law enforcement, locking up criminals, which is more than she can say. And it would be easier to take the opposition seriously if they actually got serious. Not a slither of remorse, not a hint of contrition. It's like the arsonists complaining about the people who are trying to put the fire out. And all they do is come every week with more and more complaints. Just wait till they get their hands on the people that created the mess that we are clearing up. We're fixing the economy, we're ending their open borders policy, we're taking down the waiting list. That's what people voted.
Literally open borders policy. I mean, are you trying to hand Nigel Farage the keys to number 10?
The thing is, right, is that you can there's probably a way that you could massage the rhetoric to say, well, they were too liberal, they gave out too many visas, they didn't get a hold of legal migration, right? But as soon as you say open borders, that just means immigration was too high. Anybody listening thinks it means immigration is too high. So where does that stop? like Nigel Farage can then attack you and say, well, immigration was 250,000 or whatever it was. It'll be a reduction. They'll say that they've got the numbers down. But as long as you can have this nebulous figure, meaning open borders, which just means more migration than people want, you can get attacked by the opposition there. You can get it, because obviously the real opposition is now Reform UK. Like, they can just get attacked by saying, well, you did open borders as well. We've got the numbers down, still too high, so it's open borders. And then you've instantly lost the rhetorical argument.
Yep.
We're delivering it.
No law.
Literally, all
Mr.
6
Speaker.
questions.
All
Six questions on immigration.
The only thing that matters. Yeah.
Since in the last couple of months, since I spoke to the Prime Minister here about the need for social and industrial investment in Cornwall, we've had a fresh tranche of shared prosperity funding, a huge boost to international interest in our most cleanest energy industries, and we've had a roadmap to greater political autonomy that reflects Cornwall's unique national identity. Will the PM join his minister on that visit?
I mean, Frankie Boyle gif. Insert it here. Asking some boring shit about making music. No one cares.
In the spring, to meet with the industry firsthand and spell out a roadmap for Cornwall to helping Britain become a clean energy superpower.
Prime Minister.
Mr. Speaker, I thank my honourable friend. He's a champion of the extraordinary potential of Cornwall, particularly in our transition to clean power by 2030. Next week, we'll publish our English devolution white paper, setting out our ambitions to move power from Westminster into every part of England, including Cornwall. And I know he and his colleagues are meeting the Deputy Prime Minister to discuss this next week.
Leader of the Liberal Democrats, Sir Ed Davey.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. While Syrians are rejoicing at the overthrow of the brutal Assad regime...
Oh, look, it's the post office submaster murderer. Hello.
I will still defend Ed Davey on this. He actually had the best record of the post office.
No, I know. But in the same way that I'll mock Keir Starmer for not doing Jimmy
prosecuting
Savile.
Jimmy Savile.
Like, because it's not really their fault, but they're kind of connected to it, and they're cunts. So fuck them. You know?
Many people then around the world are worried about what comes next, as the Prime Minister indeed said, with the threats of extremism, ISIS terrorism and unsecured chemical weapons. No,
it's okay, because Israel's just bombing them against international law, so that's fine. That's perfectly normal and fine. Don't need to analyse that at all.
It's not an issue.
It's not an issue.
Open political process can bring peace and stability, but that will require the full backing of the international community. So does the Prime Minister share my concern that President-elect Trump said about Syria, and I quote, "The United States should have nothing to do with it"? If America...
Well, Trump is too busy literally referring... Did you see him refer to Justin Trudeau as the governor of the US state of Canada?
No.
Yeah, he on Truth Social. Do I have it bookmarked? I think I must have it bookmarked.
Oh my god, that's so fucking...
He's gone fucking mad. He said that both Canada and Mexico should be considered states of the United States. Like, he's a fucking lunatic. I don't think I've got it bookmarked, but it's a thing. Yeah. Fucking
is Mexico a state yet? No, because Claudia Sheinbaum has a backbone that Justin Trudeau clearly is missing.
True.
Walks away and steps away, will he step up and work with other allies to provide British leadership over Syria?
Prime Minister.
He's right to say this is a very serious moment. We all welcome the fall of Assad. I hope this can be a turning point for Syria, a much needed turning point, but that is by no means guaranteed, and that is why we've been speaking intently and intensely with our allies in the region across the globe about how we ensure that this is peaceful, it is political, and it's a rejection of terrorism and violence. This could be a turning point, but in the past we've always thought that what comes next is necessarily better. That hasn't turned out to be the case, and that's why we're working so hard on this and showing the leadership that he and the House would expect from this government.
Sir Ed Davey.
Can I thank the Prime Minister for that reply, and I hope we can continue to work on a cross-party basis to do Britain's role in securing peace and stability in the Middle East. But moving on.
Yeah, sorry, I did have to look it up because I don't want people to think I'm just making shy up about him. Old Trumpadump. Here he is. Hang on a minute. I don't know what they call it. Truthing? Whatever. Untruth Social. It was.
I can't see it. Sorry. Can you put it in? Put it in a new tab?
In a new tab? Hang
yeah.
On,
it was right on the right hand side, and my window is moved to have it on where the video was.
No, fair enough. There we go. That should be okay, I think.
Perfect. Literally right where it needed to be.
Hang on a minute. Oh, there we go. So, right. It was a pleasure to have dinner the other night with Governor Justin Trudeau of the great state of Canada. I look forward to seeing the governor again soon. Blah, 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 blah. DJT.
It's so funny.
Unbelievable. Look, to be fair, though, that's just making explicit what has been always implicit, that Canada is America's little bitch.
Oh, it always has been. Yeah. It's fun. Again, it's literally funny how when it came to the trade talks, Justin Trudeau basically completely rolled over, and then Claudia Sheinbaum just said, "We'll fucking do it back to you," and Trump immediately backs down. It's really funny to me.
Yeah.
Which turns out, don't get a liberal to do a leftist's job.
True. The immortal science of Marxism Scheinbaumism.
True.
Let's fucking go. Anyway, so that's just the leader of, or soon-to-be leader of America, just talking about annexing both of his land border countries. Brilliant.
As you do.
Normal, very normal.
On to another subject, Mr. Speaker. British farmers are the best in the world.
Yeah. What's that based on? Like, I know we're supposed to do this thing like America does, like, we're the number one, we're the best with this thing. What the fuck is that based on? Show you're working. What do you mean they're the best in the world? In what way?
We have the best of everything in the world. We have all of the best everything.
We have the best. Have you heard this thing now? People are saying we've got the best farmers that have ever existed in the history of agriculture. Shut the fuck up, man. Look, American exceptionalism at least makes sense because they're a world superpower. Look, they're a dying world superpower, but they're still like the big daddy on the block for now. China, like, catching them or possibly passing them very soon, whatever. But like, it's embarrassing. It's almost sarcastic. It seems like you're mocking them. It's shitposting to say Britain's the best. It's not 1820. What are you talking about? Britain's the fucking best. Shut up.
They are the best in the world because of our tradition of family farms, where from generation to generation a commitment to high...
How the fuck do you think farms work anywhere else? Well, you think it's a random lottery in other countries to get to see who becomes the next generation of farmers? No. A family farms the fucking land for generation after generation. That's not a new thing that we invented. It's not... Jesus Christ, it's so dumb. And the thing is, I know the point he's about to make, and he hasn't even gotten onto that, and already he's annoying me. He hasn't even made the stupid point about not taxing billionaires yet.
And that's what, again, it's again tilting to me. He just goes, this tradition of family farms, it passes down to generation to generation to generation. I'm just like, inherited wealth. It's just all this inherited wealth.
Yeah, that's exactly what it is, yeah.
Quality food to our precious environment, animal welfare is passed down. But family farms were let down badly by the last Conservative government, with their botched transition to new payment schemes and their unfair trade deals with Australia.
Don't say transition. Wes Streeting is in the house and he may go nuclear.
He's going to have a whole meltdown.
He's going to ban farms for under 19 trans kids.
And actually, that's a good point in chat from Satnav. Like, actually, what's unique about the UK is that rather than just having the farmland being owned by some family farms and some corporate farms and some traded farms, right? There's a very large section of our society that other countries don't have, where they have to fucking rent farms off the duchy, where they are tenant farmers who have to rent it from the fucking aristocratic landlords.
Mm. We are literally one of the most, I think, the most unequal in Europe, and one of the most unequal in the whole world. I think only beaten by certain micro-states where literally 100% of the land is owned by like a monarch or something. in terms of the
Brunei,
the ridiculous centralization of land in a very small number of hands. Land is much more available and much more widely dispersed and owned in other parts of Europe. We're basically very feudal.
Yeah, it is crazy how we always talk about ourselves as being like the founders of capitalism, modern liberal capitalism. It's like, bro, we still have feudal lords.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. It's ridiculous.
And New Zealand that have undercut British farmers. Now, many families...
Is there anyone that we could blame for aiding and abetting the creation of that Tory government at all? Is there any other acolyte party that we could maybe point to? No,
I wonder. I wonder if anyone might have been a minister in any of those governments previously.
Yeah, well, no, to be fair, though, he was mostly obsessively trying to murder postmasters. His thirst for blood overrode all concern otherwise.
The farms feel the government's budget will be the final blow. So will the Prime Minister change course and recognise the vital role that British family farms play?
Yeah. Prime Minister.
Mr. Speaker, as he knows, we put £5 billion into farming over the next 2 years. That's a record number under the budget. Last week alone, £350 million to support farmers in the United Kingdom. That does contrast with the last government, who was an underspend of £300 million in relation to farmers. In relation to inheritance tax, as he knows, in a typical family case, the threshold is £3 million, and therefore the vast majority of farmers will be unaffected, despite the fear-mongering of the party opposite.
Bill Brittle.
Speaker, places of worship are vitally important, not just for practising one's faith, but also for local heritage. The government's places of worship grant scheme currently provides much needed tax.
Nice to ever take your child to work day. That's good. That's inclusive.
Yeah, it's good. Did he not leave when the youth parliament stepped out? Did he just stay in there?
Just get lost.
Yeah.
Oh, I'll sneak in, or I'll try and get a question at PMQs. Ooh.
And to be fair, the Labour backbenches are filled with such no marks that you could get away with it.
Yeah.
No one knows who any of these people are, including themselves. So, have at it, I guess.
Tax relief for religious buildings in need of renovation, but is scheduled to end next year. What assurances can the Prime Minister provide my constituents that the government will continue to support restoring our much cherished places of worship, such as Holy Trinity Church in Horwich?
Prime Minister.
I thank you for that question and recognise the important roles that these buildings play at the heart of communities, particularly, Mr. Speaker, at a time like Christmas. There are a wide range of funds available for maintenance and restoration, including the National Lottery Heritage Fund's Places of Worship scheme. Details will be confirmed in the usual way by departments at the spending review.
Mr. Speaker, last week my neighbours Omar and Delma.
Oh God! When you hear this accent, it could go either way. You don't know. It could be incredibly bigoted or incredibly based. We'll see.
It can't really go either way, because all of the based ones are all in the 6 counties, not turning up to Parliament.
That is true, but there's also some SDLP people now, and there are some relatively not necessarily based, but let's say Northern Ireland based.
Yeah, true. Comparatively to DB, but I think it's these are the
people that don't want to throw gay people off roofs.
It's true, because you've got Saoirse Eastwood from Alliance, another Alliance MP, and Column Thingamajiggy.
It's Muck Thingamajiggy, please.
Of South Belfast as a doctor and a classroom assistant received the news that they have been dreading. Dalal's mother and brother were among 23 Gazans killed in their tent by an Israeli airstrike in the so-called humanitarian zone of Al-Mawasi, and other family members are fighting for their lives in a barely functioning health system. Prime Minister, the crisis in Gaza is getting worse and not better. None of us in this chamber can end their nightmare, but we can do more. This government have rightly used every tool at their disposal, sanctions on arms.
She's losing the whip so much. Jesus, definitely.
trade and officials against Putin's Russia? When will Israel be held to the same standards for genocide? When will this government confirm further sanctions, recognise the state of Palestine and offer some hope to beleaguered Gazans and many millions who are watching on in horror?
Prime Minister.
Can I start by saying I'm sorry to hear of the dreadful loss of the families of her...
Are you? Because you haven't stopped the RAF using RAF Akrotiri to do fucking reconnaissance missions for the Israeli Air Force to bomb innocent people like the people aforementioned.
I mean, he was literally in Akrotiri to speak to them and talk about how the values their contributions. And I was just like, fuck you, Keith.
Yeah, like, but it's not necessarily well known outside of, well, it's not well known inside of Britain because, again, we have essentially a captured press. But yeah, British Air Force is literally engaged directly as an acolyte to the Israeli forces that are murdering people all the time. So that's cool. That's cool. But that's not an escalation. That's lovely.
No, nothing. No, we're not aiding or abetting atrocities at all. I don't know what you're saying. No,
it's funny to me. Like I don't know how much you followed the announcement from FIFA about the next 2 World Cup hosts.
It's fucking
Saudi Arabia. I'll you know what? I'm going to be okay with Portugal, Spain, and Morocco doing their thing. We'll put that to one side. 2034, Saudi Arabia. I mean, one of the most monumentally corrupt decisions that's ever been made. Now, I am on a perfectly legitimate basis in making that point because I've never engaged in a genocide. But when you have people in the British media currently supporting genocide, just across the desert there, saying the human rights record of Saudi Arabia is a disgrace, and you're like, what the fuck is our human rights record? What are you talking? You're literally aiding and abetting a fucking genocide right now. You don't get to make that point. You haven't got a leg to stand on.
It's ridiculous. It is ridiculous. As Jim points out in chat, FIFA is literally just a criminal cartel that hosts a football tournament every 4 years.
Oh yeah, no, it's a joke. It's a fucking farce.
It's a joke. I mean, we got mad over Qatar, and I'm just like, Saudi Arabia 10 times worse.
Yeah, they were dipping their toes in the water with Qatar, and they went, okay, let's go for the big dog. Come on now.
Exactly. Next up, we've got like the a triple hosted World Cup in 2042, which is going to be in China, Indonesia, and in Afghanistan.
No, what we need, Axis of Evil World Cup. Let's go. It's fucking North Korean World Cup. That's what we need.
Yeah, we'll have it in North Korea, and we'll have it in Iran, and we'll have it in Turkmenistan.
Fuck yes, let's go. Unbelievable shit, man. Fuck me. And you get again the billions of what's their currency called? I don't even know. Anyway, let's just say dollars. Fuck it. The billions of Saudi Arabian dollars that have been poured into football washing and sports washing. Their government is starting to pay off because they got so much good publicity out of all of this. They get to pretend to be like progressive and like, we welcome the world here in Saudi Arabia. Ignore the human rights atrocities. It's
woman, yeah.
They said, unironically, this will be the greenest World Cup ever.
Oh my god!
You are literally like the biggest seller of oil in the world. You would have nothing without oil, you fucking pricks. What are you talking about?
It's just like again. I think they're fucking like bro washing themselves as well. They're green washing and bro washing by like having all of the big like esports tournaments are now in Riyadh and in Jeddah.
Yep.
And I'm just like, what the fuck is going on?
Yep.
Although it is funny, it's just like they're just like a lot of these oil-rich petrochemical states have just abandoned like. Or Salafi Wahhabism outside of funding it elsewhere, and just gone like, yeah, we just like money a lot now.
Yeah, they
care more about money.
Yeah, they're just capitalists. They found out that money is better than God.
Unironically true.
Yeah. Because money's real. Ayo.
There have been far too many
they're
examples
both man-made, I guess.
Like that. I was pleased to see that there's now a ceasefire in Lebanon. We desperately need that now in Gaza, something we've been pressing for some time. There's intense talks going.
The Saudi Real. Yes, apologies.
On to that end at the moment, as she knows, that would provide the space for the hostages to be allowed out. They've been there for a very long time.
Sausages?
Yeah, the sausages thing. I think you mean and nationalise them afterwards as well.
Well, I mean, obviously. Release the sausages.
Time, desperately needed aid to go in at speed and at scale, but also opens the potential for the pathway to the two-state solution, which I believe is the only peaceful way to resolve this ongoing conflict.
Katrina Murray.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. My constituents in the east of Kirkintilly are experiencing a housing emergency. Not enough houses for families or for those fleeing domestic abuse, and what houses there are in drastic need of repair. Does the Prime Minister agree with me that the Scottish Government should be prioritising repairing this housing emergency, but also the funding of local authorities to address this crisis of their own making?
Prime Minister.
Well, I'm grateful to her for raising this, because
every week, every single week, and it's just, Prime Minister, your campaign seems to have the momentum of a runaway freight train. Why are you so popular?
True.
Like,
Scotland.
They've just been given the questions to ask by Morgan McSweeney. He's written them out. He's texted them over, just looking down at the paper they've printed out, like without even reading the question before getting into the Commons.
Yeah. Prime Minister, how do you get such a rippled chest? How does
exactly.
That... Prime Minister, why have you got all of the skibbity rears?
House building has ground to a halt. Homelessness is at record numbers. Children in temporary accommodation, record numbers. And that this budget was the biggest settlement for Scotland since devolution. So they've got the powers, they've got the money. What they haven't got is any more excuses.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
And literally, as well,
have been promised.
And you know that it was just, well, we know we're losing some votes to the SNP and where the polls are going, so let's insert a question at PMQs that specifically Keir Starmer can use to attack the SNP with. Here's your question. Go and ask it.
Yeah, tiny
That's
queen.
our strategy.
Tiny Queen spotted. In orange.
There you go.
Is it caftan? I don't know what the fuck that is.
Scarf to me.
Yeah.
The new health facility for more than 20 years, but have seen every proposal fall by the wayside. That's why it was a great relief to residents when the Health Minister confirmed to me in writing that the funding to rebuild the centre would be made available. However, we are still months away from seeing the final plans signed off, never mind having spades in the ground. So what reassurances can the Prime Minister give me and my constituents that this isn't just another hollow promise and that the proposals will be approved swiftly once they hit the Health Secretary's desk?
Well, I'm grateful to her for raising that, and it's obviously a cause of concern for her constituents. And we are determined to fix the broken NHS that we inherited from the party opposite. We've set out our targets in the plan for change last week. As she knows, the Department for Health, NHS England, the Local Care Board are working together to deliver for patients in her constituency. It is important, as she'll appreciate, that we go through the proper business case as part of this rebuild. But what I can make sure is she gets a meeting with the relevant minister to be updated on behalf of her constituents.
Peter Lamb.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Following years of real terms cuts to their funding, St Catherine's Hospice, serving my constituency of Crawley, has recently made a number of redundancies. Palliative care is hugely important to our communities, and I pay tribute to them for their work. Can the Prime Minister join me in thanking the work of St Catherine's and outline how the Government will look to support palliative care moving forwards?
Prime Minister.
I will join him in that and recognise the vital role that hospices play in providing support to people at the end of their life and understand the challenges that they face. Most hospices receive funding by...
What's all the chattering about?
Is this got anything to do with the assisted dying stuff, maybe?
I mean, I assume so, but this seems to be such a boring question to have provoked such an animated response from the benches. What are they getting up about?
Don't know. Yeah, I can only imagine it must be something to do with assisted dying. The respectful dialogue that Parliament had is gone now. It's now just screaming at each other about being murderers or something. I don't know.
Providing NHS services, and funding will be set out in the usual way. Thank you.
Jerome Mayu.
Mr. Speaker, Losing a farm is not like losing any other business. It can't come back. Now, those are the words of the Prime Minister, those that he said to the NFU in order to get their votes. So can the Prime Minister understand why farmers in Broadland and Fakeland and around the country now think that his administration is duplicitous?
Mr. Speaker, I think everybody
carry on with this. If you want to go into the next election with less taxes for millionaires, have at it, I guess. Again, you're dead in the water. You've learned nothing. You're capable of learning nothing.
Also, what's funny is just the statement that Keir Starmer was so fucking stupid. Or you can't if you lose a farm, you can't get it back. Well, yes, you can.
You can. That's literally how buying and selling things works.
Yeah, exactly. You just buy the thing. You just offer money.
Also, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter to me whether you're working the farm or someone else is working the farm. As long as it's still a farm, I don't care. Actually.
Yeah, exactly. And again, just again, they just want to be treated special outside of how the market works for literally everybody else, right? All of these free market ideologues sitting on both benches they've suddenly realised actually they don't like markets when it comes to their specific voter base.
Yeah. All Luigi did was assisted dying. No comment. No comment
exactly.
at all.
There you go. Also, apparently, someone just let me know that the question time lineup is truly cursed.
Oh, no, I already saw it.
Truly cursed.
Yeah.
So, for people who don't know, it's Wes Streeting.
Love it.
Tom Tugendhat.
Love it.
Christine Jardine. So for people who don't know who she is, she's the Liberal Democrat MP in Scotland. And my first interaction with her was her going on Pod Save the UK and telling Nish Kumar that they had to do austerity because they found the note saying that there was no money left.
Amazing.
She's literally just a yellow Tory, like a genuine, honest-to-God, pissed diamond Tory. Then Piers Morgan is on the panel as well. Again, the third time in a fucking year for some reason. And to take the edge off, at least, we have Emma Dabiri.
Who is pretty based, to be fair. Yeah.
She is very based, but the rest of the panel is so unfathomably cursed.
Yeah. But they could all have a circle jerk about how bad trans kids are, I guess.
True, and how much they love austerity.
Yippee!
The £5 billion over the next 2 years that we've put in the budget.
Join us both tomorrow for that. Fun times, everyone.
I want to respond by saying somebody's saying I'm sounding neoliberal. They're doing a devil's advocate saying I'm sounding neoliberal about farms. And I think you're right. I am sounding neoliberal about farms. But even so, like, if we're going to have a market economy, it's got to be fair that when people interact with the market economy, right? Mm-hmm. If we're going to have a market economy, we can't just have some people being able to pass down their inherited land over and over and over again without any justification to be able to sell it on the open market at all. Again, as a Marxist, I think capitalism is better than feudalism. The necessary step towards socialism is to replace feudalism with capitalism first to build the productive forces. So I'm not gonna, I will attack feudalism through a capitalist lens by all means because it's clearly a better system.
But you know what's even better than that though? MAGA communism.
And subscribing on Twitch or for free with Twitch Prime.
I mean, that's actually true though. That is how you do socialism. And the more gift subs you have, the more socialist there is.
And when you have gifted 20 memberships on YouTube, that's communism.
It is.
Well, they shake their heads. I'm afraid that they do. £350 million in the last week alone, compared with the...
Bear in mind that the last time Piers Morgan was on Question Time, he goaded Nigel Farage into standing for Parliament.
Yay.
Yippee. I wonder what he'll do now. I don't know, maybe spark off the Night of the Long Knives or something. I don't know.
We shall see. £300
million underspend by the last government. On the threshold, as he well knows, in an ordinary family case, the threshold is £3 million, and that means the vast majority of farmers will be unaffected.
Joyce Dewbray.
Speaker, 14 years of the party opposite gutting local government.
Whoa. Pause. We've achieved full communism. It's happened. It's done. We've won. Capitalism has finished because Leopold has gifted 20 memberships on YouTube.
Nice. I mean, it's a good meme and a solid way of getting 20 memberships. That was fucking nicely done. Honestly, tip of the cap. Beautiful.
Absolutely, we got there. We managed to get there with the gifted membership. We much appreciate the support. If you want to achieve us with extra full communism, you can also give 20 memberships on YouTube.
Extra. If you want communism plus.
Exactly. That's true MAGA communism.
My constituents were recently shocked when Cannock Chase District Council proposed the closure of the Museum of Cannock Chase and the Prince of Wales Theatre. Can the Prime Minister ask the Culture Minister to please, and his officials to please meet with me to see what can be done to save our museum and theatre?
Prime Minister. Mr. Speaker, they groan at the question. The Leader of the Opposition was saying they're coming to terms with their failures. Well, they're obviously struggling just with it. I understand this will be a huge loss to his constituency. Councils across the country were at the front line of the last government's ruinous economic failure. We announced £4 billion in additional funding for local government, a real terms increase in core spending power. We will continue to do so. And
Wait a minute. How are you going to be able to afford that extra spending power? And I see a folder behind you, Keir. How much do you pay for the folder?
Yeah, did you see this? Yeah, was it 1,200 quid on 2 folders?
Yeah, 1,200 quid on 2 folders. Again, which of course is ridiculous, and we shouldn't be doing this. Just use a fucking lever arch from Smith's, right? It's fine.
Yeah.
But either way, it's really funny how they start talking about the expensive folders now when they're taxing farmers to fund the NHS, as they say, even though it's actually about the value of the farmland they're doing it for, or that they're increasing the rate of national insurance that employers pay. Those two groups are being taxed to pay for the NHS. And they go, but the expensive folders. Yet when George Osborne and David Cameron were, demociding their own people with social murder, is what I would describe it as, when 330,000 excess deaths were caused by their austerity policies, did at any point anyone try and break the narrative and say, well, actually, maybe we should cut the expensive folders rather than, cutting disabled people's benefits? And there was just not a hostage, not a single moment. Not a single moment did anybody say, well, maybe there are actually some things which affect the state that isn't what poor people rely on we should cut. Yeah. Really interesting how they approach the blue team and the red team differently, isn't it?
Very much so. We'll talk about the 1,200 quid, but not about the hundreds and hundreds of millions given out to just random mates down the pub or something. Brilliant.
Yeah, all of the crony contracts.
Oh, we've got double communism all the way across the sky. Thank you to Katie Marshall for gifting 20 subs and officially entering Mark's tier membership.
Absolutely, 100%. Next up, if we have it again, then that's permanent revolution, and then the Trotskyists win.
True. We go on our ice pick arch. Let's go.
Absolutely.
We'll make sure that he gets a meeting with the relevant minister.
Chris Law.
Yeah, these last months have shown that cruel Westminster governments of whichever party continue to target the weakest in society, while the Scottish Government will continue to protect them. Whilst the Labour Party have voted to continue the 2-child benefit cap from the Conservatives, the SNP are abolishing it. While the Prime Minister...
It's true. Lenin's going to be partying in that gay nightclub just off Red Square. Fact.
Absolutely. With the village people throbbing. Also, thank you, Tsar, for starting the permanent revolution. Fucking hell. With a 20 gift, we've achieved it. Trotsky has won from beyond the grave by people giving us memberships on YouTube. Like, the thing is, we joke. There are a lot of really fucking cringy grifters. Like, did you remember when, what's his name? Ryan Knight from Twitter? I can't. It's not crossed my timeline in years. I don't know what's happened to him. Very funny man. But he had this Amped Up podcast, and it was just like his top Patreon. It was called Full Means of Production.
Well, was it Black Hammer? Do you remember the weird Black Israelite group? They were led by the very, very effeminate gay man who's now I think in jail for corruption or something. Anyway, and they had on their, I think it was a Patreon or whatever, some crowdfunding thing, and they had Mark's tier and Mao tier and stuff as they're and you're just oh, for fuck's sake.
It's so cringe.
Like, we're doing a joke, right? It's, for legal reasons, we have not actually achieved full communism.
Please don't sue us for fucking.
Do not sue us for all of our Labour vouchers, please.
That's the thing. That's the thing, right? Is that what we do, the joke that we're making. So, in case anyone is frustrated at the communism image in the last 10 minutes, right? But the joke they're making is that you're not donating your money here towards a political cause. You're paying us for the entertainment, right? Yeah. But I think that our content serves a higher purpose in terms of changing perspectives. But let's be real, this is entertainment. You're paying for the entertainment to continue.
Yeah, exactly.
But and any content creator who tries to tell you that gifting Twitch subscriptions is going to help feed the revolution, they're lying to you. And that's the meme that we're talking about here.
But no, this is not my Scottish cousin, to whoever said that. Just because he's a white man with a beard, and let's be honest, a bit of a scruffy cunt. We're not all the same, okay?
Picks the pockets of pensioners of their winter fuel allowance. Scotland's First Minister, John Swinney, has reinstated it. Yep. So, Mr. Speaker, given support for Labour is plummeting, and support for Scottish independence is once again leading in the polls, who does the Prime Minister believe makes the best decisions for Scotland?
And again, right?
Those that were elected in a general...
And again, that's, this is a rod that Keir Starmer and Rachel Reeves have made for their own back.
Yep.
It's an easy rod where they have gone, we're going to split away from what Anas Sarwar said before the election. We're going to cut these things from the winter fuel payment. Scottish Labour have gone, well, we might lose votes if we don't, so we're going to say that we all would reinstate it if we get elected to Holyrood. And so SNP go, well, we'll just reinstate it anyway then.
Yeah.
Tough. And that now they are just getting outflanked from the left incredibly easily by the SNP. But they'll have to make cuts in other parts of the department, of course. They'll have to make cuts elsewhere. But politically, it's going to be very easy for the SNP to go, well, what do you get with Labour? You get cuts to your winter fuel allowance, you get the 2-child benefit cap, you get the increase in tuition fees. What do you get over here? We get free prescriptions, we've got free university, we've got free bus passes, we've got free travel for young people, we've got the baby boxes, we've got loads of these things. The overall access to public services may be different. I can't comment. I'm not Scottish. I can't comment on how their councils run, on the other public services up there. Maybe it's better, maybe it's worse. I don't know. But in terms of the things that really bite people politically, to get people politically engaged, Labour have just gifted. They've just gifted the next Holyrood election to the SNP, which, who I remind you, just had a fucking money laundering scandal. Not a year ago.
Yeah, and have been in power forever. Like, they should be absolutely hated in normal political times. But the other parties have gone, should we make ourselves even more detested? To the point where people are like, well, I'm not a massive fan of the SNP, but the other people are literally the most ghoulish fucks ever. I'm never voting for these bastards ever again.
Yeah, exactly.
Winning electoral strategy and ass.
Yeah, you'd expect that with Labour being in government in Westminster, they have the power to be able to make things so good that the SNP would fail. Right, to go, well, look what Scotland's missing out on with the Labour Party government in Westminster, and they're failing miserably. I cannot stress, as you say, that the kind of electoral cycle means that people don't usually last more than about 15 years in government. Yeah. They really don't last longer than that. I mean, the Tories only lasted 18 years. Up until 97, and that's really kind of pushing it. They were really kind of down in the dumps from 92 onwards. And for them to be now not just scraping through, but on the ascendancy, it looks like we'll be able to, at the next Holyrood election, polls are correct. It looks like the next Scottish government is going to be another Butte House agreement on current polling. There's be a majority between the Greens and the SNP. How has this happened? And it can only have happened because Keir Starmer and Rachel Reeves haven't got a fucking clue what they're doing.
Yes, quite literally. Also, apparently no first-class train carriages to Glasgow.
Interesting.
Election on the 4th of July, they're sitting here.
Hang on, did I speed this up accidentally? No?
I think what's stupid as well is that, okay, well, you've got more seats in the SNP, but how many actual extra percentage points of the vote did you get in Scotland? I'm actually going to check that right now. 2024 UK election in Scotland, right? Because they didn't win that many more votes than the SNP did. Yeah, so the SNP got 30% and Labour got 35%. So it's not exactly a huge victory. It's a big swing, though. It was a 15-point swing, but it's not a huge victory.
No.
And, of course, they're still in government in Holyrood. And they probably will be again come the election in spring.
Yep.
And also, as well...
In centuries past...
Sorry to keep interrupting here, but just from a political perspective, imagine if you're a Scottish viewer who was watching PMQs to hear what the Prime Minister has to say about the extra old people in Scotland going into fuel poverty. And his only response is, well, we won the election in Scotland. You must think like you're being treated like a fucking mug.
Yeah.
You must do, surely.
Yeah, well, exactly. Well, he does think of them as mugs. 100% he does, yeah.
The three rivers that converge on the centre of Carlisle have made the city highly defendable against invading armies. However, in 1985, 2005 and 2015, those same rivers overpowered the city, leaving thousands devastated by flooding. What assurances can the Prime Minister give my constituents that the flood defences that the Conservatives promised but failed to deliver will be completed under this government?
Can I start by wishing her a happy birthday? She raises a really important matter for her constituents who faced appalling flooding too many times, and the last government left our defences in a state of absolute disrepair. Mr Speaker, we're investing £2.4 million this year, and the Environment Agency are currently studying options to improve protection in Carlisle. I'll make sure she gets a meeting to discuss the specific options.
Becca Paul.
Mr Speaker, in recent weeks, the former head of MI6, Sir Richard Dearlove, has warned that conflict between Russia and the West is no longer coming, it has already come. With Russia poised to spend more than 6% of its GDP on its military next year, the time for reviews and roadmaps is over. Will the Prime Minister recognise the urgency of the situation and commit to spending at least 2.5% of GDP on defence without further delay?
No.
Mr Speaker, she's right about the importance of national security, particularly at the moment. At the budget, we delivered £2.9 billion increase in the MOD budget. We're pleased to deliver the largest pay rise for our armed forces in 22 years. And we'll set out the path to 2.5 in due course. That target, of course, was last met under the last Labour government. It wasn't met once in the 14 years that they were in power.
Right, McNally.
Mr Speaker, in October 2023, my constituent Mark Somerville received the shattering news that at 43 he had motor neuron disease. Since then, he has set up the Mark Somerville Foundation and is doing incredible work to raise awareness of the condition. Mark is in the gallery today and will speak to MPs later about living with MND. Will my right honourable friend join me in recognising the work of Mark and his foundation and commit the government to doing all it possibly can to support efforts to find a cure for this devastating disease?
Well, I thank my honourable friend for raising this case. He mentioned it to me last night, and I do pay tribute to Mark, who's in the gallery, and the work of his foundation. This diagnosis can so obviously be absolutely devastating, and it's testament, if I may say so, to his bravery and compassion that he is raising awareness of the condition. I think many of us would question whether we're capable of doing what he's doing, given the diagnosis that he's had. Last week, of course, Mr Speaker, I paid tribute to the inspirational Kevin Sinfield, another incredible champion. And I say to both of them, all those campaigning, we stand with you in this fight.
Sir Ian Duncan-Smith.
Deputy Speaker.
Oh man, it's a man who likes to, who's filled a the Olympic-sized swimming pool with the blood of the poor and swims in it daily. It's the only reason he's alive.
Indeed.
He's literally a vampire ghoul.
And he only swims breaststroke specifically so he can inhale as much of the odour of the dead poor people as possible.
Literally.
No backstroke for him. He has to see. He has to imbibe the scent of all of the dead paws while swimming in his Olympic-sized swimming pool full of the blood of the poor.
True.
So that's a nice little kind of visual, a nice little visual thing for the
for anyone having their
to...
tea. Yeah, enjoy.
Has been detained in Dubai for 17 years. His property was seized in what is a very unjudicial process. The Prime Minister has been to UAE.
And remember as well,
I want to ask the Prime Minister...
If you like Mr. Olympic-sized swimming pool for the blood of the poor being in government, if you don't like him being in government, I say in Parliament rather, if you don't like Mr. Kill All the Poor being a member of the House of Commons, and you're a Labour Party voter, that's your fucking fault, isn't it? Should have supported Faisal Shaheen.
Should have done. Hey, hello, Surf. The Surfs have raided into me on the YouTubes. Hello, Surf people.
Welcome, Surf viewers.
I'm Kevin Logan. I talked to the Surfs on stream like 6 years ago, and they keep raiding into me, even though I don't deserve it. I appreciate. God, no, Lance is fucking awesome.
He is awesome.
I also did a
absolutely
voiceover for one of their videos a long time ago. Anyway, Lance is awesome. Go and follow the Surfs. I'm Kevin Logan, a socialist from the UK. You can hit the follow button. I will just turn off the alert box though, because lots of people. We don't need to hear that noise every fucking time. But thank you. Please hit the follow button and come back for more. I stream most days at some point. Usually relatively acceptable for North American timing. Also, I'm joined by my co-hostess with a co-mostess, No Justice MTG.
You are indeed joined by No Justice MTG, who actually also, surprise, surprise, happens to be a socialist who's also from the UK. What a surprise.
We're a hive mind here.
Absolutely.
But we have
truly
double full communism tonight, so...
If a KF Logan mod over on YouTube can post my YouTube link in the chat so they can subscribe to me as well, I would be very grateful.
Please do, yes. I'll just put it out there. Wayward, you're the only person who does this. So, if you wanted to, that would be cool. Hello, fellow Celtic fans. True. On the hoops.
As I always say, I talk about UK politics from a socialist perspective 6 days a week. And if that sounds like your thing, subscribing and following on the Twitches and the YouTubes is absolutely free for you to do.
True.
Not to clout chase, but I have.
Yeah, fucking no. Like it's all a clout game in the end of the day. Asking people nicely to follow and trying to say that it's better than like, I don't know, what do people do for clout? Horrible fucking pranks where people get fucking hurt. Like, you know, that's worse,
exactly.
right?
Or people like what the Mr. Beast copy was that just goes and just films poor people in Africa and just like, whoa, Mr. Beast subtitles, whoa. That sounds a bit exploitative.
A little bit.
Whether, when he went there, did he now demand that Ryan Cornelius was freed, given that the United Nations came to the conclusion that his detention was arbitrary and in violation of international law, and following that, would he now make Magnitsky sanctions deliverable on those who are responsible for this after he is released?
Unfortunately, we don't care about international law when it's broken by people who we have material interest in geopolitically supporting. So, no, we won't do that. Unfortunately, you are less important than access to the Emirati oil deposits.
Yeah, exactly. Like we had a good little 20-year run pretending that international law existed, and now we're just like, nah, bro. Just no.
It's an important case, and of course it's been raised by the government a number of times, including by the Foreign Secretary as part of the trip that I was on. I myself raised human rights issues, but it is a serious case. We'll continue to press for the outcome that I know he and his family desperately want.
Sarah Owen.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Stellantis could not have asked for more from the workers at the Luton plant. Like every generation of Vauxhall worker in Luton, they meet every target set. They make every innovation demanded of them. They never give up. Contrast this with Carlos Tavares, the CEO, who days after making the decision to threaten over 1,000...
Oh, she's had a go at CEO. She just lost the whip.
There you go. You know, she's going to get indicted by the New York Police Department.
Exactly. She's gone full Luigi. This cannot be tolerated.
No, absolutely.
Also, look at the fucking Timmy Mallet glasses on her. That's amazing. Love that shit.
They are, and the woke hair as well.
Oh yeah, pronouns in bio, definitely.
That is some real pronouns in bio there. By the way, for people watching who have just rated in, we do this ironically. By the way, I am transgender myself. It would be a little bit hypocritical if I started doing that stuff in earnest.
Yeah, no, it is just a joke. Yeah, in the same way, it's literally a joke when I refer to Jeremy Corbyn as literally Hitler. I don't think he's actually Hitler.
No, in fact, we think quite the opposite. In fact,
yes.
1,000 jobs in Luton quit. Does the Prime Minister agree that in light of this sudden departure of the CEO, Stellantis should review this decision, do what's right by our town, stay put for good, or until an alternative is found to ensure Luton's manufacturing history is also our future?
That's a really good point brought up by Jim in chat. Maybe if the factory was owned by the people who actually worked in it, rather than people who don't work in it, maybe they wouldn't have voted to get rid of their own jobs. Excellent.
Perhaps, but you know, that's communism. So.
It's true. Excellent reference to the TikTok clip that I posted on Twitter this morning.
Nice. Good question from Kieran, and thank you for the bitty bits. Should we sanction Duncan Smith for his breach of human rights, as said by the UN, due to how disabled people were treated by the DWP under his watch?
Well, it's true. They literally, there was a UN special rapporteur, not special rapporteur, a UN envoy for the disabled who came here and said that we're breaking the human rights we are violating the human rights of the disabled.
Yeah. I mean, I personally think he should be thrown into terms of service by a terms of service and then terms of serviced.
Well, there you go. Absolutely. I mean, to be fair, I did say on Twitter that my wokest opinion was that I want them to turn Ascension Island into a gulag and then imprison everybody from the 2010 to 2016 government there indefinitely. And Ian Duncan Smith is one of those people. So there you go.
Yeah.
Because it's not illegal. It's not illegal for the government to set up labour camps on overseas territories, not at all.
No.
Just invent a crime that they've committed and they can do it.
Well, they want us to hold on to Chagos, don't they? So how about we build one there? The irony would be delicious.
There you go.
I thank you for raising it, which is it's obviously an issue of grave concern to her constituents, and the government is totally committed to supporting the workers and their families at this uncertain time. And the Industry Minister will meet the company this week to discuss plans for workers and the site to ensure that dedicated support is in place. We'll continue to do so because I know it's an issue of considerable concern to her constituents.
Joshua,
God, he's a boring cunt, isn't he?
Ben and Henry, otherwise known as the Ocean Oarsmen, will be rowing across the Atlantic next year for Alexander Devine Children's Hospice in Maidenhead, with a target of raising £50,000. This hospice, Thames Hospice and many others, though, are struggling with rising costs and the planned increase in employers' national insurance. So will the Prime Minister join with me in wishing Ben and Henry the best of luck on their journey and take this opportunity to scrap...
It really is take your child to work day, isn't it?
It is.
Also, how posh is this little kid?
Honestly, that hair is the sign of a man who's taken too long preparing. It's too much.
Actually, it's more Brill cream than Keir Starmer.
It is.
Scrap the NI rise for hospices.
Well, can I pay tribute to Ben and...
I feel like asking him, like, are you even old enough to pay national insurance? What? The fuck are you talking about? Shouldn't you be studying for your fucking GCSEs? What?
Henry and everybody supporting their campaign. It's obviously an important issue. The funding arrangements will be set out in due course.
For retail workers in Bolton North East, the busy Christmas season is overshadowed by shoplifting, which Usdall's latest survey identifies as the leading trigger of abuse, threats and assaults. At a police drop-in in Bromley Cross, officers welcomed this government's commitment to clamping down on low-level shoplifting and prosecuting repeat offenders. What more can the government do to...
Remember, kids, if you see shoplifters... No, you didn't.
I guess it depends on what they're shoplifting and where. But the vast majority of the time, if they're stealing food from Tesco, you did not see them indeed. Or they didn't. I mean, they weren't stealing food from Tesco. That didn't happen. I don't know what you're talking about.
Yeah, I didn't see shit.
I know, but if you're stealing like handmade, bespoke things from a local shop, maybe I did see that.
Or if you're stealing from like a charity thing or something.
Yeah, stealing from a charity.
If you're going into the age concern shop and stealing second-hand books, like that's pretty bad. Yeah. Okay.
I mean, to be fair, like that's really interesting. Like, obviously, the place I go and play Magic: The Gathering in Nottingham, they have people steal from all the time, and they have the best response. So obviously they do notice it and they do pull people aside, but they don't report them to the police, and you shouldn't. What they do is they say, look, why are you stealing things? Well, they're stealing expensive board games to go and sell them because they've been told to. There's no need to do that. Come in, we do food, we do coffee, we do tea. Come in and eat some food, come in and have some tea, and give us the stuff back, right? If you need to come somewhere because you're hungry, you can come here. And they do that very, very frequently. And I think that's a really good way of dealing with thieves who are doing so because of, the material conditions.
I didn't realise they were so woke, the gaming community.
Oh, you best, but it's vegan food that they're doing at the cafe. It's vegan food.
Oh my word.
No. Literally, there is a sexual health clinic that operates out of it sometimes.
What the fuck is this place? It's a combination homeless shelter, sexual health clinic, and fucking Magic the Gathering board game centre. What the fuck? It's like Mad Libs. You're just throwing in weird shit together. Like, it's just amazing.
It's because I guess that it's the kind of places where you'd build community within people with similar interests, and because it's such a large space and the only one really in the area, most of the queer people hang out there. Like the Nottingham University, like a transgender society or whatever, they have their meetings in there as well.
So it's a trans meeting place. Oh my god! So they're doing all this cool stuff, presumably, like like you offset your carbon footprint or whatever, which is a silly idea, but whatever. I presume this is like, morally speaking, they're offsetting their evil footprint by doing Magic the Gathering, right?
I've just smeared fucking eyeliner all over my face. Fucking hell.
Fair enough.
I've goth makeup for the rest of the stream. I'm turning that shit off. Right, you go. I'll listen with PMQs while I clean this shit up.
Okay, I'll move on.
And support retail workers and businesses during their critical holiday season.
Prime Minister. Well, thank you for raising this, and I've spoken to many who work in our shops who are very, very concerned about shoplifting, and because of the approach that was taken by the previous government, it went out of control. We are bringing it under control. It's not low level. It has a huge impact on other customers, has a particular impact on staff working in supermarkets, and that's why we are dedicating funding to training police and retailers and supporting specialist analyst teams to crack down on the gangs that are targeting retailers.
Paul Holmes. Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker. In the last few weeks of the last government, we awarded millions of pounds to remote train stations like Hedge End and Swanwick in my constituency under the...
Hedge End and Swanwick, I assume, are real places. I don't actually know that to be true, but they sound real.
Accessibility for All scheme. In the first 2 weeks of this government, that was scrapped. Will the Prime Minister use his good offices to give my constituents and stations across this country an early Christmas present and give us our money back, please?
Hang a minute. I thought we voted David Gauke out of Parliament. He looks identical to David Gauke.
Yeah, there is a Gauke-esque feel to the man, yeah. I mean, to be fair, I think they do produce Tory MPs in the same factory, so they probably got a typeset thing for it, and they pop out a Gauke every now and then.
literally, they've
got like a cast of like mediocre white dude in his fucking 50s and 60s that they just produce ad nauseum.
Like that, it's like that the first scene, the opening scene of Star Wars 9 with the vat of Snokes.
I don't know what the fuck that means, but I'm going to assume that's a very good and worthwhile relevant.
I was gonna like act surprised. You've not seen Star Wars 9? Don't. It's the worst film I've ever seen.
Which one's that? I saw the 3 original ones and some of the follow-up ones, but I don't fucking know.
No, it's the last one in the sequel series, and it is literally the worst film I've ever seen in my life. I have never seen anything worse. And I have watched fucking Paul Blart Mall Cop.
That
and
is bad.
The Rise of Skywalker was even worse.
Oh, it was that one. Okay, I don't think I saw it now.
It's genuine. I cannot put into words how terrible it is, and basically every single possible way as well. Like, there's no redeeming features apart from one character is called Babu Frick, and it's a tiny little mechanic. Other than that very specific character, the entire film is terrible.
Fair enough.
I'm grateful for him. This is an important issue for his constituents. The problem is the last government made lots and lots of promises, but they never set aside the money to pay for them. That's why we picked up a £22 billion black hole. They made promises in relation to infected blood, promises in relation to Horizon. They didn't put aside the money to pay for it. We've had to inherit that, to clean it up. We will get on with delivery, but we had to balance the books and stabilise the economy first.
Mr. Speaker, this past weekend, one of my market towns, Kirkby Lonsdale, suffered a devastating fire, resulting in the loss of a local man's life. The whole town centre was closed and many local businesses have been affected.
Woke turban? Pronouns in bio? I don't know how
The purple turban. Oh, that's Chaz Athwal. That's the fucking slumlords.
Yeah. Wow, there you go.
I was if anything we know about the fucking performatively.
Yeah, exactly.
Sorry?
He's trying to purple turban wash his fucking horrific rat king status.
His parasitism.
Yes.
Sunday was meant to be a day of celebration with Christmas markets, family games and community events, and instead the town faced a tragedy. Can the Prime Minister tell me how the government can support communities like Kirkby Lonsdale to rebuild and recover after tragedies such as this?
Prime Minister.
I'm grateful to her for raising this awful situation, and I think all of us can only imagine the impact that this must have had on the town, on the families and the friends of the victims of this awful tragedy, and I commend the community.
Has there ever been a Prime Minister less comforting? Like, don't get me wrong, they're all liars and didn't give a fuck about tragedies and stuff, because obviously they're monstrous ghouls. But you've got to pretend to, like, soothe a person in their time of, like, crisis, or a disaster has happened and you have to come out and do the whole the nation grieves with the victims and all of that shit. Is there anyone who's less believable in that role than this guy? Is there any, like, he's literally, because he's just a corporate, like, mid-manager guy who's just like, yeah, anyway, if you look at the tragedy, it's we've seen a 12% drop in tragedies across the country under my leadership.
I heartily endorse this event or product.
Yeah, exactly. It's just corporate dullness,
which has come together in an extraordinary way in the aftermath of this awful event. I'll make sure she has a meeting with the relevant minister to discuss how the government can support her community at this vital time.
Final question, Ellie Jones.
Ellie Jones.
This week I was contacted by my constituent Sally. She's a GP and she'd called 999 on Monday for a critically ill patient to try to get an ambulance, but couldn't because they were all stuck outside Hereford A&E waiting to unload their patients. At the same time, we know that across the country, medically fit patients are unable to be discharged because of the social care crisis. So can I ask the Prime Minister, what is he doing to fix social care, to fix patient flow through hospitals so that ambulances can get back to saving lives?
Well, I'm grateful to her for raising this case, and it's awful, an example that is all too common because of the fact that the last government broke the NHS, and she'll have seen the Lord Darcy report that we published on the state of the. They should be utterly ashamed of themselves in relation to what they did to our NHS. But she raises a really important point. That's why we put a record amount into the NHS in the budget, £25 billion. We've set out in our priorities what we need to do with the NHS. We'll work at pace on this as hard as we possibly can. She's right to raise it. They should hang their heads in shame.
That completes Prime Minister's questions.
No response when the actual thing was about social care. That was the question was about what you're doing to fix social care, which of course they have no plans to, because they've fucking ditched their national care service thing that they touted in during the election. And well, they're very good policies, but it's been ditched. Like the £28 billion has been ditched, like the Lord's reform has been ditched, and clearly, apparently, the votes at 16 has been ditched as well. So
brilliant.
Thanks,
so they're doing literally nothing good. Nothing positive whatsoever.
Well.
Brilliant, thanks.
Honestly.
And on that bombshell, we will part, and you can carry on doing Britbong stuff, and I will do some Yankoid nonsense.
To be honest, we've been going almost 2.5 hours now, and so I'm just gonna raid into you, and you can watch Kevin Logan.
Well, yeah, well, indeed so. Everyone go and follow No Justice MTG on the various platforms.
Do it. I command you to give me a follow.
True. Okie doke. And we'll speak tomorrow.
Yes, for cursed question time, should we do some preamble again? I think it's good when we do preambles because we can get the YouTube viewers to come over to Twitch. So
yes, indeed. So we'll do an hour beforehand about something. Just something.
I will raid into you on the proviso that you also, when you finish, you raid into Cosmopolitics, because her stream title is literally just Anna Kasparian mocked me for being poor.
Well, that's one of the things I'm going to talk about, ironically.
Yeah,
I saw that, and it's unbelievably shit.
It's my contribution to the future conversation is Anna Kasparian, you suck. You suck, McBain.
True.
I called her a graceless specimen on Twitter, which is quite funny considering that she was speaking on Novara a week ago.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, and and your Bezzy, Michael Walker, was very nice to her. I didn't like that.
It wasn't a particularly challenging interview, was it? I did raise this.
Fair play. Okay, everyone go and follow No Justice. And
take care, stay safe, free Palestine. I'll see you all tomorrow.
Cool.
Bye.
Bye. Well, there you go.
Get the fuck, they came up with me, all these mutants.
Hello there, mutants. How are you all? Much love. You know who I am. You've literally just been fucking watching me for the last 2 hours, or listening to me for the last 2 hours. You can hit the follow button. It would be appreciated. And all of that jazz. And the same is true on YouTube. You get the idea. You've just come in. Much love. So, we are going to talk about a little bit of Britbong. A little bit of American stuff following the Britbongerinos. Couple of sort of main things I want to cover is the Luigi Manifesto, and then Anna Kasparian being, well, not just Anna Kasparian, TYT, more broadly, I suppose, spiraling really, really fucking badly. Like, they are so obviously, they've been, I mean, I think they were going down a right-wing path anyway, because they're rich and wankers. But also they're what's the word I'm looking for? They took Peter Thiel's money, which we'll get to a little bit as well, by taking crypto market sponsorship. So they know directly they're getting Peter Thiel's money, and this is sort of hypercharged their right wing push. Now, whether there's a direct link between them taking Peter Thiel's money or not, I don't know. And it sort of doesn't. Oh, sorry, Polymarket. Yeah, Polymarket is the thing, which is like a crypto gambling site, which is like grim enough as it were. Even if it weren't funded by Peter Thiel, it would be bad because it's a fucking atrocious industry. They renamed the studio the Polymarket Studio. Oh, that's so grim. That's so grim. Vash was talking about independent media being captured, and I'm inclined to agree with him. That's what I was sort of going to move on to talk about. But we'll talk about that in a bit, right? We'll talk about that in a bit. I wanted to first talk about Luigi's Manifesto, because it was released. And it's quite short, so I thought we could sort of go through it. Because there are some interesting elements to it. Now, this is being contested by some people that I saw online. Because there is one particular bit in it which doesn't necessarily comport with the way in which this person has done some crimes and the way that they taunted the police. So some people are suggesting this might not be entirely authentic and untampered with. I have no evidence to suggest that isn't the case. This was released by Ken Klippenstein, who, as far as I'm aware, is a relatively well-respected journalist. And I haven't seen any mainstream media say that this is bullshit. So I'm happy to go with it as, like, this is at least is being seen as the authentic document. So we'll go with it. But again, just with that sort of proviso in mind. Anyway, Ken Klippenstein released this thing, Luigi's Manifesto. Yeah, it says, or he says, so this is Ken's like preamble bit. I've obtained a copy of serial killer suspected killer. I was about to say serial killer. I was already aware of one particular incident, but you know. Suspected killer, Luigi Mangioni's Manifesto. The real one, not the forgery circulating online. Major media outlets are also in possession of the document but have refused to publish it, and not even articulated a reason why. My queries to the New York Times, the Washington Post, CNN and NBC to explain their rationale for withholding the manifesto while gladly quoting from it selectively have not been answered. I can answer for you. It's because they're corporate shitbags who don't want people to realise that CEOs are the problem. It's trying to prevent people from reaching any kind of class consciousness whatsoever. I have more to say on this later. I'll have more to say on this later, on how unhealthy the media's drift away from public discourse is. But for now, here's the manifesto. Thank you, Jack Mellor, for becoming a member. Much love to you, friend. And it's literally just like a couple of paragraphs. And it says, and the opening sentence is what makes you think, I'm not sure about this, because like, one of the things that I found so funny, if you remember from my coverage of this earlier in the week, was the monopoly money thing, which is so obviously meant to be like a fuck you to the healthcare industry as a whole, to be sure, but also to the cops, right? You're taunting the police in the way that criminals sometimes do, right? They don't just want to commit the initial crime, they want the police to chase around. They leave either false clues for them, or like they troll them with specific messaging and symbolic items and things. So he was clearly like taking the piss a little bit, right? The fact that he literally wrote on the fucking casings, you know, the thing, he left a fucking backpack in Central Park, which he must have known was going to be found, right? There's no way you dump an item like that and don't realise instantly that it's going to be connected to you. And he left it with monopoly money in there. And he rode off on a bike. Like, he's taunting the police. So the opening sentence to this is sus and weird, right? He says, to the feds, I'll keep this short, because I do respect what you do for our country. Time out. Does that seem to comport with you as to a thing that the guy that we know... Look, we know what he did. I know it's innocent until proven guilty, right? But, like, we know what he did. We all fucking saw that tape. He's not claiming this is mistaken identity, as far as I'm aware. His lawyers don't... Or his lawyer that I saw speaking earlier, who, by the way, is fucking mental, didn't appear to be doing that. 1 second. This guy is phenomenal.
Earlier today, you talked about the masks possibly being related to coronavirus. Could you elaborate on that?
Well, I mean, yeah. I don't know where you are from, but I still see people wearing masks. They say numerous masks. A lot of times when you buy masks, you got to buy them. You know, they don't. I guess you can buy them individually, but every time I bought them, they come in boxes. So I don't know. All I can tell you is that's not a crime.
It's not a crime. It's not a crime. It's not a crime to wear a mask. You're quite right. Hey, I'm walking here wearing a mask. Hey. It really is Lionel Hutz. Anyway, his lawyer does not appear to claim that this is like false identity or whatever, as far as I'm aware. We'll wait and see what they go with at their trial, which presumably will happen in relatively short order. Anyway. So, like, I don't think this doesn't seem to ring true to me, that he would either that he would say it or that he would lead off with that. Like, that seems weird to me. I don't know. I suppose it's possible, but, like... He continues. To save you a lengthy investigation, I state plainly that I wasn't working with anyone. This was fairly trivial, some elementary social engineering, basic CAD. A lot of patience. The spiral notebook, if present, has some straggling notes and to-do lists that illuminate the gist of it. My tech is pretty locked down because I work in engineering, so probably not much info there. I do apologise for any strife of traumas, but it had to be done. Which, by the way, time out. This guy has literally better morality than the IDF, because he originally planned to kill the guy with a bomb, but realised that that might include hurting or killing other people. And so in order to stop the collateral damage of other people, he decided to go with the route he was. So he's literally more moral than the most moral army in the world. Interesting. Frankly, these parasites simply had it coming. I'm just going to highlight that sentence for you. Oh, hang on. Oop. Ah. Why wouldn't it highlight? There we go. Frankly, these parasites had it coming. Frankly, these parasites simply 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 had it coming. Frankly, these fucking parasites simply had it coming. That is the wrong one. There we go. Just saying. A reminder. The US has the #1 most expensive healthcare system in the world, yet we rank roughly 42 in life expectancy. Very good point. Very good point. It's not even that this is like a cheaper way of doing it or a more efficient way of doing it, because it fucking isn't. The amount of bureaucracy involved in having to keep a ridiculous system of insurance company like mid-level people as a gateway to healthcare is fucking ridiculous. Thank you, Sozzle Snake, for gifting a sub. Huzzah. Wait. United is the, and then in brackets, indecipherable, largest so I presume that's, when he says indecipherable, I don't know if it was indecipherable or whether he's like curtailing swearing, but I don't know. United is the indecipherable largest company in the US by market cap, behind only Apple, Google, and Walmart. It has grown and grown, but as our life expectancy, I think that's supposed to be has our life expectancy. No, the reality, these indecipherable, have simply gotten too powerful, and they continue to abuse our country for immense profit because the American public has allowed them to get away with it. To be fair, the systems in control that educate, quote-unquote educate, the American people have been bought by the very same people. The consent machine has been manufacturing for a long time. Obviously, the problem is more complex. I do not have the space, and frankly, I do not pretend to be the most qualified person to lay out the full argument. But many have illuminated the corruption and greed, e.g. Rosenthal and more. Time out. Rosenthal refers to the American author who wrote... What was the book she wrote? The American Sickness? Which I meant to read and never got round to, but apparently was very good. And Moore refers to Michael Moore, who made the film about American healthcare, where he literally did the thing that I'm genuinely surprised they didn't assassinate him for, of going to Cuba. He took some American cancer patients on a boat, illegally technically, to Cuba to get healthcare in Cuba, because they have a nationalised system there. So even the third world nation that's been struggling under an illegal blockade by America for decades was not only able, but absolutely willing to take care of these people because they were sick. Imagine that, a healthcare system based on treating people because they're sick. Crazy. As well as giving them the drugs they need to be able to survive, and then they were able to get on the boat and just go home, right? Showing up perfectly how corrupted and foul the American system is. That even a country infinitesimally less rich than America were able to treat American citizens. And again, willing to do so. Because they didn't have to. They're not Cuban citizens. They could have gone, well, the Cuban people pay for this, fuck off. But they went, no, we're doctors in a hospital. We can treat you, so we will. Imagine it. Imagine a world where healthcare workers were allowed to do healthcare instead of checking your fucking credit score or your insurance or whatever, you know. Fucking mad. Anyway. He continues. So the corruption and greed arose and told them more decades ago, and the problems simply remain. It is not even an issue of awareness at this point, but clearly power claims at play. Evidently, I am the first to face it with such brutal honesty. Brutal honesty. There's something in that phrase, brutal honesty. Now again, assuming that you have this is a legitimate document, I genuinely admire that phrase. Evidently, I am the first to face this with such brutal honesty, because it's true. When you're in a class war, and be under no illusions, America, you are in a class war. You may not think you are, and that's one of the best tricks that the upper class ever played on you, was convincing you that you weren't in a class war, convincing you that you were in a culture war, convincing you that actually the CEOs are the good guys, they're the wealth creators, they're the job creators, they're the entrepreneurs that drive innovation and help keep America safe. They're not. They're evil parasites. They're fucking vermin. They are succubuses, succubi, whatever, on the America and indeed on the world. That's what they are. Now, for obvious terms of service and legal reasons, I'm not suggesting anyone should face that reality with such brutal honesty, because why would I say that? I wouldn't say that. I'm just pointing out that he did say that, and I think that speaks volumes about his approach to this. It shouldn't be that surprising that some people will react with such brutal honesty, because this is not a new phenomenon, of course. When he says, I'm the first to face this with such brutal honesty, he means the first in the kind of modern world. This is not a thing that happens all that often now. But I would advise you to look into the anarchism of the late 19th and early 20th century around the world. This sort of stuff happened all the time. During the last robber baron era, during the Gilded era, you know, the whole Great Gatsby era, if you will, to use a culturally kind of relevant touchstone. Anarchists were... And not just anarchists, but anarchists were largely the thing. Did a thing called the propaganda of the deed, which is a delightful phrase, which basically means doing a terrorism, but in a way that is supposed to radicalise people. So they assassinated heads of state. I think was it McKinley? The American president was assassinated by an anarchist. Various presidents and prime ministers of France were killed. I think a king of Italy was killed. Various other people were assassinated. Bombs were placed in like bougie hotels in Paris and various other places. Look into the dynamiteurs, the dynamiters, as they were called, including people like Rabachol and so on, who became sort of cult working class heroes for their direct action. Now, I would argue that propaganda of the deed is ultimately not a workable plan as such. It gives you a kind of almost Pyrrhic sense of victory and a sense of control over a situation in which you felt powerless. So there's a certain, in the same way that this guy has inspired memes from people, he's inspired a certain kind of hollow but ultimately fun response from a lot of people on the left, and indeed actually some people on the right as well, and some vaguely liberally types who see the horror of the system and kind of almost treat him as like a kind of cult hero as such, because he's one of the few people who's fighting back against it in an effective, albeit, like I say, Pyrrhic and short-term sense. But this doesn't bring the systematic change that's necessary, right? But the upper class should know that this brutal honesty has visited upon them many times in the past. and very well may do so now. We are seeing levels of inequality that even the robber barons couldn't have imagined. Elon Musk is supposedly worth $320 billion. $320 billion. We could genuinely see the first trillionaire ever. The robber barons could only have dreamt of such wealth, and dreamt of such wealth inequality. And that led to a generation of leftists who went out and killed to try and bring this system to heal. Don't be surprised if people have the same response again, is all I would say. Anyway, I'll keep you up to date with that story as it goes along. Will Elon be the first trillionaire? I don't think so, because I think his bubble will burst before they get there, but you never know. You never know. Anyway, so don't you mean rubber buttons? I do mean rubber buttons, that is true. Is Michael Moore sicko? Oh, nice. Okay, yeah, no, everyone should be going to follow. What's his fucking? Jesus Christ, Gremlo, friend of the show, Gremlo. If they do a watch along of whatever. Yeah. Anyway, where are we? No, that's not what I wanted. That's what I wanted. Where are we? There was a thing. Where is it? Did I not bookmark it? Oh, for fuck's sake. Well, it's got to be in my likes. Because I definitely liked it. By the way, that image, that goes fucking hard. Holy shitballs. Can we get some 707s in chat? Oh, that was the farmers. Oh, here she is. Piece of shit.
Mad at Taylor Lorenz, we're mad at Haas, we're mad at all these other people.
No. Where's the... There's a clip of them responding to Sam Cedar and Emma Vigeland. Here we go. Right. So we watched the other day the Sam Cedar and Emma Vigeland respond to TYT and accusations of grifting and such from Cenk. Their response is, shoddy, griftoid wank. I think it's safe to say.
All right, welcome to the Young Turks. Cenk, Grant, and Kasparian, all back in the studio here, Parley Market Studios in LA.
Poly Market Studios in LA. Poly Market Studios in LA. Woo! That's definitely the left, yo. That's definitely, when I think about leftism, I think of Poly Market Studios in LA. Honestly, the idea that these fucking freaks think of themselves as the left. What are you talking about? What the fuck are you talking about? Fucking dipshits.
Look, the last thing is about Peter Thiel. So apparently he put money into Polymarket, right? So that people are holding that against us. Now, I didn't know that when we did the deal, but doesn't matter.
Maybe you should have looked into it. Maybe you should look into the people you do deals with. Because maybe some of them are weird fascists who fund your apparently your political enemies, but maybe not.
Matter. I'm going to say something revolutionary. No, it doesn't matter. Why? Okay, Peter Thiel also financed PayPal. Did anybody ever use PayPal? If you did, guilty. Okay.
Okay, you're literally doing the Boers meme thing now of like, yeah, we all have to participate in capitalism, right? But using a system like PayPal, which allows you, exchange of goods and services, or, money, basically, is not the same as you literally taking money from Peter Thiel. You taking money from Peter Thiel is not the same as me using a service. I'm not taking any money from Peter Thiel. You are. Again, you're taking money from a far-right grifter who's known to fund far-right grifting, at the same time that you're changing your opinions to more align with that far-right grifting. I'd say that does matter, actually. I'd say that matters quite a lot.
Okay, hold on. Okay, Peter Thiel also financed Facebook. Did anybody ever use Facebook? I know Emma did, because she used to make videos for us on Facebook.
Yeah, you made her do that. Like, you literally made her do that. She produced videos for you. And again, it's not the same. No one's taking money from Peter Thiel by posting a video on fucking Facebook. You took money from a crypto gambling site funded by a far-right grifter piece of shit. That is very different. Yeah, to be fair, I do take money from Bezos and Raytheon. That is true. That is true.
Emma, I can't believe you work with Peter Thiel! And Peter Thiel...
No, that's not working with Peter Thiel. That's posting on Facebook. You are working with Peter Thiel.
Organization Facebook. Hey, give me all that money back from all of your videos on Facebook, because Peter Thiel financed Facebook. You going to do that?
No, I know you don't like workers' rights, but those are called wages. I know you fight the unionisation of your workforce, and so clearly you don't give a fuck about that. But she earned that money fair and square. Like she earned that. Just saying.
No, you're not going to do that, right? So it's just a piece of propaganda that they're using against us.
I don't give a shit, okay? I don't care at all. I'm here. I'm speaking my truth.
Honestly, she's my least favourite bonus hole. She's my least favourite birthing person, this one. Just got to say that. Anyway, it somehow gets worse. Anna Kasparian, Jesus fucking Christ. Right. So Emma Vigeland said, sort of, and there's been more back and forth anyway. To be fair, some of it probably also went to hiring a union-busting law firm, which, by the way, they definitely did. TYT literally hired a union-busting law firm to bust their attempt at unionising. Because they're so leftist, you understand. Anyway, definitely showing, Anna Kasparian, definitely showing that she doesn't care at all. Don't put in the paper that she was mad. She's definitely not mad in any way whatsoever, and it's just going to speak her truth. She doesn't even care. She's not interested in what anyone else has to say. Honest. Responds. Yet another sign of her pathetic dishonesty. Emma was employed by TYT when the company announced recognition of the union. After significant attempts to not recognise the union, having used all of the same tactics. We literally watched the guy's video. Do you remember he made the documentary about this? The guy who was like leading the campaign to unionise TYT? Yeah, we literally watched that shit. He went through the myriad ways how they tried to fucking stamp their unionisation efforts out. In exactly the same way as Elon Musk does. In exactly the same way that all these corporate fucks do. They're no better. They're literally no fucking better. She continues. These cheap shots to make herself look like a class warrior crack me up. Especially when she advocates that we all shut up and take when someone assaults us on a train and blah, blah, blah. That's the thing she says, right? Which isn't at all what she said, but okay. And then she says, unclear what this means. So Emma Vigeland responds, unclear what this means. I'm a member of a union. If that's a shot at my upbringing, I'll let my work speak for itself. The TYT NLRB complaint is public. I've tried to keep our differences professional. I loved you as a friend at one point. I'm sorry you've gone down this road. which is so fucking true, by the way. It's so fucking true. Because she's not just, like, doing this evil, fucked up shit here. Like, this weird, like, attacking everyone on the left whilst being super friendly with everyone on the right. Bullshit. Like, taking your gloves off when it comes to the left. But then the most kiddie of kid gloves with the right. That thing, right? It's not that she's doing that. It's the grossness, the disgusting fucking grossness of the next thing. Now, as was trailed by No Justice MTG, who, by the way, everyone should go and follow No Justice MTG on the various platforms. Anna Kasparian had an interaction with Cosmopolitics, who, by the way, everyone should go and follow Cosmopolitics. Hang on, no, I don't want likes, I want respondents, or whatever it's called. Replies, there we go. Where the fuck? There we go, right, so. There's this whole ass thread that goes on, right, here, of people, like, doing whatever. And then Cosmopolitics, who's good people, and you should all go and follow on the various platforms, and was friends for more than a decade with Anna Kasparian. And not just like internet friends, but like friends. Like they were actual friends. Companions in life. Actually, that makes it sound like a lesbian thing. It's they were just friends, right? No, they were just friends. They were just friends, okay? Not like when your aunt comes to Christmas and you get told that their friend is it's just their friend. It's not like that, okay? It's not like that. When I left the house, I was watching Lance. Now I don't know where I am. Fair enough. Why would you know where you are? You're on the channel of a fucking silly, stupid leftist prick. You should hit the follow button or subscribe. Which hang on, which you're on YouTube. You should hit the subscribe button. It's free, and you can always change your mind next time if you wanted to. If my content is so terrible, that's the way I look at it. Anyway, welcome in, friend. So, Cosmopolitics, in response to this whole drama thread, just says, ha ha ha, you can't watch both TYT and... So, you can't watch the Young Turks and Majority Report. TYT has regressed. Which is, like, undeniably true. Undeniably true. And we'll get into this in just a second, right? Because there is a video I wanted to watch of a now former TYT host... or anchor, I should say, who essentially resigned or quit live on air. Right, we'll get into it. But, like, this is not the first time this has happened. They had basically all of their mods on their YouTube and Twitch quit. Various of the people who used to be involved with this shit quit. Like, they have regressed to the point where people don't want to work for you anymore. People don't want to be associated with your shit. Anyway. Please tell me you've got that resignation video. Is that this video you're talking about, or is there a different one? I'm open to suggestions if there's other things you want me to watch here. Yeah, hello winners and losers. That's the person who did the who did the union busting TYT video that we watched on stream however long ago it was. What's this? Yeah, exactly. Yeah, we watched that on stream not that long ago. It was very good. Everyone go and follow Winners and Losers on YouTube. They do very good stuff. I don't know if they stream on Twitch, but if they do, go and follow them there too. By all means, Winners and Losers, post your links in chat. That's absolutely fine. Anyway, we'll get onto this in just a second. Because Anna Kasparian, being a genuinely disgusting person, really. Where are we? So yeah, here we go. Right, responded to again the relatively light touch thing from Cosmopolitics here. Just saying that TYT has regressed and that the Majority Report is better. Cool. With the genuinely disgusting Genuinely disgusting. And even for Anna Kasparian. This is bad. I don't know how, like, it doesn't matter to me how badly you get fucked over. To bring this kind of personal shit up is grotesque. She says, "You sure were a sweetheart when you were asking me for money." Weaponizing someone's poverty against them in order to win a Twitter argument. I don't know where to fucking start. I don't know where to start with how, I mean, just evil that is. Fucking evil. Like, for a start off, they came to you in private, seeking, in a moment of desperation, a genuinely low moment in their life, where, I don't know the exact details, of course, but like, where poverty stalked them, in a way that you would imagine a leftist would have sympathy for. In a way that a leftist would have genuine empathy towards that person. And even if they couldn't financially help themselves, which, by the way, Anna Kasparian definitely can do, but even if you couldn't, you would maybe, you know, try and tweet out their links, or just, like, try and help them in some other way. Try and at least be comforting and awesome to them. And for that person to have opened up to you as a friend and shown themselves to be a vulnerable, desperate person in need of your assistance, and for you to, like, hold on to that as ammunition to use against them in a fucking Twitter argument is unbelievably scummy. You don't get to claim to be doing this thing for, like, economic reasons. You don't even get to claim to be doing the class reductionist thing anymore, because you don't give a fuck about poor people anyway. When you're going about how it's all about the economics of it, okay? We don't need to give a fuck about trans people or people of colour or anything like that. It's all about economics. We need to attack the corporate elites. You are the corporate elites. You're happy to take money from Peter Thiel whilst trying to fucking destroy the mental health, at the very least, or reputation, or whatever, of a person online who used to be your good, close, personal fucking friend. But you're shitting on them right now. So Peter Thiel good, any leftist bad, is basically the message here. And we're supposed to pretend that you haven't moved to, like, not even just the right anymore. Like, you're just fucking MAGA scum, basically, at this point. We'll see in this video in a second that she's literally being interviewed by Glenn Beck, and not in a hostile way. Not remotely in a hostile way. She's chummy as fuck with Glenn Beck. Do you remember Glenn Beck? The guy who was so crazy that he described the Barack Obama as having Maoists in the White House? That guy, that lunatic far-right piece of shit. And she's good friends with him now. Amazing. Anyway, my response was, this is unbelievably scummy. Do you realise how far you've fallen? And then no justice, you are truly a graceless specimen. I think both of those work. Both of those work perfectly well as general ripostes, if you will. Like, does Anna know how far she's fallen? Like, to be fair, she was always a lib rather than a leftist, but I think TYT did do some good work. I think they were a worthwhile organisation at one point. And to see them slip into this morass of right-wing shit is so fucking disappointing. It's so disappointing. And the thing is, they've signed their own professional death warrant, or at least TYT's professional death warrant. Like, literally, they have no real future. They've been losing subscribers for a long time. They've been losing followers for a long time. Their viewing numbers have been decreasing for a long time. But they're going to start falling off a cliff soon. And they're not going to be replaced by rightists. Because the right have already had, like, I mean, nearest damn it, 20 fucking years now of hate pumped into them about how TYT are evil. So they're not going to replace them. No one on the right, like, they might get a small number of people come over as, like, initial kind of interest, like, ooh, are they right-wing now? And then they're going to leave. Because you're never going to be right-wing enough for them. I can't see Cenk and Anna going, like, I mean, maybe they will go full Donald Trump supporter. I don't know. But from my perspective, they're never going to be right-wing enough to garner a right-wing audience. So they're going to lose all their left-wing audience, and it's not going to be replaced. So TYT is, economically speaking, a non-entity at this point. It's not going to be a thing. Unless Peter Thiel comes in and just, like, you know, fucking funds the whole operation, TYT is doomed. It's certainly doomed to irrelevance, but it could be financially doomed too. Absolutely scummy shit. Anyway. So on to this from the Benjamin Dixon show. TYT anchor quits live on air. Let's take a look.
Also right now, I will do no more work. I don't know why. Something just said, I will do no more work with TYT though. In its current capacity, I will.
Oh wow, bro!
No more content. I will be on no more shows. It's over for me. Like something just told me I have to say that, and I need to put it on Twitter. I need to text Jink and Anna. Y'all can't call me for no more shows. I'm done with
what?
Yeah, in real life.
Are you serious?
I'm bro.
This is not it's not the first time this has happened. If you remember, Benny is not a gay or whatever it's called, or Benny.gay. Sorry, that's the now referred to. Who is a trans person who used to host for TYT. They don't fucking host for them anymore. There's loads of people who used to work with them, both in front of the camera and not in front of the camera, that have left now because they don't want any fucking part of this shit. You know. Thank you, James Holmes, for 5 gifties on YouTube. Much love to you. Don't forget, you can give me money if you wanted to, because I'm not funded by fucking crypto gambling fucking betting sites. I'm funded entirely by you, the great masses out there. So if you wanted to, you can in the various ways that you know how to. Where is everybody? I'm just trying to scroll back. I don't want to miss anyone's particularly good comments or anything. Yeah, John, JR, Dr. Richie and Fran need to leave TYT ASAP. Is Fran still on TYT? I assume she'd already fucking left. I don't know. Yeah, don't get me wrong. I'm not suggesting that Benny's perfect. Their defense of China was unbelievably shit. But either way, they're a person who used to work for TYT who left because they're fucking evil. By the way, I posted a video of Hassan on a podcast talking about his uncle skirting labour regulations and stealing ad sales commissions. Really? Oh shit. That sounds like we could be interested in that. Ooh. Is this from Winners and Losers? There we go. Videos. Cenk panic quits call about union busting. Is that the one you're talking about? Hang on. There are quite a lot. Do you want to link the exact one you mean? Because you made a few videos about it. Link it in chat there, and I'll click on that.
I'm serious.
Damn, that's 100.
I tell people, past couple years I've been taking paychecks from TYT. At this moment, I feel disgusted by that, dog. I don't like where TYT is right now. TYT is starting to act like, and listen, I'm telling people right now, I have not severed my relationship with TYT. I'm being a buck. So what I'm saying right now might just end that relationship.
Whoa.
Oh, they can't. Oh, okay. The Vanguard reposted it. Presumably on. Oh, here we go. Okay, right.
I interned there, and I wanted to move to Los Angeles anyway. And my uncle was like, "Oh, this is an opportunity for me to hire someone and skirt some serious like labor regulations because his family." I worked at the Young Turks, and I made like, I think my first year salary was like $21,000. Like it was under the. I got money back from the government, so I started doing ad sales at the Young Turks, and they needed someone
paying his own nephew fucking poverty wages
to do like direct ad sales, and they had no idea. They had nothing. Like they had no program dedicated to like selling ads and inventory. So I basically built that out.
Right.
Advertisement, sales, and operations in its entirety.
Oh, wow.
Because I got on Facebook and they were like, "You're just going to do all of our Facebook stuff."
Wow.
Like you're demoted. No longer are you doing sales. You're going to do Facebook.
Well, that's because your uncle was letting everybody steal your sales deals too.
That's true.
His uncle would like let him massage a sales deal to the last thing, then someone would swoop it and close it and take the commission. And his uncle would be like, "Them's the break." So it's interesting because his uncle basically at this point like tries to whiplash this, like basically be like, "I did all this to motivate you."
Are you on good terms with your uncle?
Yeah, I still love him, but I mean, he was.
But it's insanity.
Why do you love him? He clearly doesn't fucking love you. God damn, he was stealing money off his own fucking nephew whilst paying him so much money that the US government were giving him money. Scrooge Yuga. True. Why do you still fucking host him on your show for the Thanksgiving thing? Tell him to fuck off. Greedy prick. Honest to God, that is fucking wild. That is fucking wild. That's how family is sometimes. Not my family, thankfully. I wouldn't accept people stealing from me. God damn. Yeah, also, everyone go and follow winners and losers for whistleblowing all this shit. Because I didn't know any of this. That's fucking whack. As if you would treat your family that way. That's not acceptable, man. Fuck's sake. Like, I mean, it wouldn't be acceptable to do it to a regular-ass employee. But even most scumbags treat their own fucking kids well or whatever, right? Like, Donald Trump is a piece of shit, but he, like, makes sure his fucking kids get all the cushy jobs and shit, right? Like, he literally got fucking Ivana? Whatever her fucking name is. They got her, like, a cushy job at the US taxpayer's expense. Like, that makes sense. It's gross, he shouldn't fucking do it, but it makes sense to look after your own, right? Cenk hasn't even got that like wiring to him. He's just a selfish, greedy bastard. Elon treats his kids. No, Elon does not treat his kids. Elon uses his kids at best as a human shield. That's basically it. He's got a breeding kink. Like he wants to have children, but not have like kids, if that makes sense. Like he wants to have babies. And then do nothing with them.
Whoa.
I'm sorry, I gotta say.
It's the anniversary night, nigga. We're not doing a relationship ending tonight.
I'm with my family and I'm talking to our extended family. I don't really know what's going on over there, dog. Like I don't know if they had some kind of meeting or was it the Christmas party or what, where they decided that, yo, we need to do what the Joe Scarborough did that cost them so many viewers to say that we're gonna cover Trump, Anna, and Jink showing up in the way they showing up. Yo, it ain't worth for me. I'm never gonna be quiet. So if they say, okay, you can't be on our shows no more, then I don't give a damn because I'm not gonna be quiet about the way that they're showing up right now. You took too much.
How are they showing up, Mondale?
Like MAGA, like an extension of damn Trump. Like, bro,
you need to
this idea that these people ain't white supremacists, like normalizing Trump supporters as if they ain't racist, dog.
True. Abso-fucking-lutely true. Yeah. Fucking snakes in the grass, man.
I am not okay with this. I am not. I'm not gonna be good with Joe Scarborough and Mika Brzezinski or Jink or Anna or anybody pretending that these people aren't threatening our lives. I'm a black person first. They can keep that money for them videos. I'll go back to kissing my wife and not having it create videos in the afternoon. I don't care. It's not what I'm not comfortable. We should all be mad. That was the last beacon other than Democracy Now! And Free Speech TV.
That's right.
I'm talking about real progressive media. Y'all took too much money from the ethos.
Yeah, to be fair, that's it. It's the old line about, was it, stare not too long into the abyss, or the abyss will stare also into you. They stared into the abyss so long that they became the abyss. They became the very thing they set out to destroy. It's sort of, it reminds me of the bit from George Orwell. And I know I'm about to quote George Orwell on the internet, so, you know, you could quite rightly imagine I might get it wrong. But anyway, at the end of Animal Farm, where it says the animals looked from the pigs to the humans and the humans to the pigs, and they could no longer tell which was which. Yep. That about sums it up.
Y'all took too much money with too many billions of views to be doing what y'all doing right now. So I don't know who offered you a check or which check you're trying to get. But I'm disgusted by it as a contributor and a person who helped grow Rebel HQ, another money source for y'all, to over 1 million followers, dog. I average 30 million views a year on Rebel HQ myself. None of those views join my personal YouTube channel or nothing. So the pennies that they give me is not enough to make me sell my soul. I don't know what's going on. And if y'all are cool with it, I need to question y'all bona fides. And I'm not talking about YouTube personally. I'm talking about everybody who said they're part of the Squirrel Gang, the Dragon Squad. I need to know what's going on.
True.
We should be asking these.
Anyone who's still, hang on 1 second. Hopefully I'll cut that off with the mute button, but I don't know. Anyway, anyone who's still working with TYT now does have to be questioned, I think. There is some significant issue you have to deal with. I think there are probably still some good people. There are still some good people who work there, who maybe think they can turn it round, or maybe think that they're still doing some good, even if, you know, the channel is maybe not going in the right direction or whatever. But if you're still there, if you're still on TYT, it's a big red flag for me now. It's a big red flag of, like, why are you still there? Why are you still aiding and abetting? And that's what it is at this point, aiding and abetting a rightist putsch of a progressive media outlet. Arguably the biggest progressive media outlet, certainly on the internet. Why are you okay with that?
These questions, dog. And we shouldn't be asking these questions with questions. We should be asking these questions with the lack of subscriptions.
That's right.
That's true. In that manner, I don't give you enough to pay nobody's bill, but I subscribe at $100 a month. That's a big level from one person when you got over 1 billion views. I cannot spend that $100 a month to TYT. As long as they're acting as if Donald Trump followers aren't the people, the same people who are trying to kill me and my wife. And that is not hyperbole. I live in segregated world because I'm still getting death threats. The FBI had to get involved to get me my email back because I was hacked by these people. In real life, in this cycle. I've never thought I would say thank you to an FBI agent. The FBI agent called me.
It's giving me big Luigi Manifesto vibes now.
And was like, you're in danger. Your wife can't travel by herself. So these people, and out of love and respect for my wife, I'm obligated to do it today. I'm asking real questions. Jake, Anna, and also TYT, what are we doing?
You know what I mean? So my thing is, for our viewers who have not watched that, could we get some exacts? And maybe we can put that and compile that into what exactly, because I like TYT. I'm over here I hate to be like this, but I'm over here kind of innocent. Whenever I turn on TYT, I see some shit that I like. And I'm like, oh, yeah, well, because I don't watch them every day, all day. I don't watch.
No, that's not what we're talking about. We're not talking about TYT. There are great progressive ideologies on TYT, right?
Generally speaking, yes.
But you cannot disconnect TYT from Jink and Anna's behaviors.
Yeah, Cenk is of course going to try and smear this guy. That's his entire fucking bit. You saw it earlier with the clip of him trying to smear Emma Vigeland because she posted on Facebook, even though you made her contractually do it anyway. What the fuck? Cenk's a fucking nasty, spiteful piece of shit. So is Anna.
Since this election happened.
That's right.
So this is specific talking points that
these ain't talking about. They doing videos, creating content, talking about. Well, I met one person who changed my heart. He's a Trump voter, and he wasn't I don't care about that, dog. We know what's going on. There have been
exactly it's the same thing. If you remember Carolyn Borisenko and her shit, I went to a Trump rally. And they were really nice to me, so I completely changed all of my economic views. What the fuck? I don't give a fuck. I don't give a shit if they were nice to you. What? So you used to support some things, and then some people were nice to you, and now you believe something completely different. Well, it was never about that then, was it? It was never about you believing anything. You just want people to be nice to you because you're a fucking narcissist. Oh yeah, Carly B was fucking wild. That's Carly B, not Cardi B. Yeah, she was intense. Hello there, Hot Rod Lincoln 12. Welcome in. Welcome to the Kevolution. Let's fucking go.
Real thought leaders, people who are professors at college, who White Rural Rage was written this election cycle. And those brothers who wrote that, 2 white professors from the University of Maryland and other spaces, and yeah, so let's just leave it there, who articulated what it means to be a Trump supporter. I'm not okay with it, dog. And I think this idea that saying or calling white supremacy is equated to calling yourself closed-minded is wrong. We don't want TYT to be closed-minded. Where's the energy you had before the election outcome? Why now is it not okay to call fascism fascism? Why now is it not okay to call these people who won't even question or saying that J6ers are heroes and hostages? Why is
Mondale, Anna, Anna's doing this though?
Anna's father going.
Anna's leading the way in it. Hang on, I don't pull up a.
Wow, bro, really? I didn't hear enough of what she said. What did she say? Just being on Glenn Beck is different. If you're going Glenn Beck and cussing his ass out,
talking about individuals.
And I'm not trying to make up for nobody.
Yeah, exactly.
Listen.
Look, you know me and my position on platforming and stuff. There are perfectly legitimate ways in which you can talk to basically anybody, and I mean virtually anybody. If you want to go on a show and absolutely fucking destroy somebody with facts and logic and all that shit, right? If you want to go on there and challenge them and tell them what a piece of shit they're being in front of their own audience, that's fine. I got no fucking problem with that. I don't think we need to just completely cut ourselves off from things. If you want to go on Glenn Beck's show and call him a piece of shit, tell him what he's done is fucking disgraceful and that he is a poisonous cancer upon American media, cool. I'm down with that. I mean, he would never publish that, so you'd have to film it yourself and put it out. But like, okay, yeah, cool, whatever. But she doesn't do that. She does like the opposite of that. She has a nice, calm, warm, cozy fireside chat with her good friend Glen. Fucking embarrassing.
Marcus, listen.
All right, here we go.
In reality, we're talking about individuals whose politics is mostly based on, you know, some fringe issue or some cultural issue that they have. It's not just that they care about that issue, it's that they've taken that issue and they've made it part of their identity.
Motherfucker, you allowed one interaction where a homeless person did something bad to you. Admittedly, the homeless person did do some fucking messed up shit, right? They assaulted you. Okay, that's bad. And you let it become your entire political personality. You've allowed someone hypothetically maybe calling you a birthing person, even though no one has actually ever called you a birthing person, to become a core part of your existence. You have gone on about birthing people and bonus hole and stuff like that for like 2 fucking years now. You don't get to call out other people for being a little bit too intense about stuff, becoming a little bit obsessive.
The core of who they are.
Mm-hmm.
And it's almost like what you would expect from religious zealots, you know? And so
you realise you're talking to a religious zealot, right? You're literally glazing up a religious zealot on this show.
So there's a fundamentalism involved in the way that they treat these issues, and there's no room to negotiate. There's no room.
She's talking about the left.
To maybe consider the thoughts and concerns of individuals. And so as they become more and more kind of like authoritarian in what they demand, they are pushing people away. And there are some issues in which the rights of one group might actually end up conflicting with the rights of another group, depending on...
Oh, she's talking about trans people now. She's doing the anti-trans grift. Trans people exist and they're a threat to the women's is bullshit. That's what she's doing. She's doing the right-wing grift.
On what type of legislation you're pursuing. And so, of course, this has come up with the trans issue.
There
and
you go.
Always been supportive of the transgender community, but when the rights of...
Have you always been supportive of them? You sure about that? Not sure. Not sure myself. Yeah.
Transgender people, particularly transgender women, start to cause some tension with the rights and freedoms of women, or...
Where is that? Where is that happening? Oh, you and your turf friends. Oh, okay, cool.
The perceived safety of women. Well, let's have a conversation and avoid assuming the worst of the people who want to have a conversation.
Danger.
Yeah, we need to just be nice to transphobes. I mean, we need to poor shame and poverty shame people on the left, obviously on Twitter, to win Twitter points. But we need to be super, super nice to J.K. Rowling because she's anti-corporate, you understand. Anna Kasparian's anti-corporate. Definitely. We need to ally ourselves with a group of people, the TERFs, who are funded by religious extremists in the United States in order to defeat corporate power. Somehow. Unclear as to how yet, but I'm sure it will. I'm sure it will.
Bro, listen, let me tell you something. This woman, that statement in itself is so dangerous, and that ain't even it. Like if you just pull up some of the stuff she put on her Instagram, all of that, it's crazy enough, bro. I am disgusted with this willing to play games and the fact that they're saying that we are zealots, we are religious zealots on the left. Come on, bro.
To Glenn Beck, Glenn Beck, right? The king of religious zealotry in conservative media.
I have no idea. What did she say about that? Let's take a look. I don't know what she said about the CEO shooting, about Luigi's masterpiece. Anna Kasparian, CEO. Let's have a look at that. See what comes up for that. No, not Anna Kasparian. Has she said anything? What's this? Oh, so Mike Figueiredo, who by the way is dope as fuck and should you should go and follow on the various platforms. Says in response to Brian Thompson, oh, he had a family, blah blah blah. He says fuck his family too. And Anna says, I mean, this is pretty much the same reaction leftists like him have when a working class woman is stabbed to death at a bus stop by a repeat offender, then want out roaming the streets. What? Oh, God. Oh, that's done psychic damage to me. That's one of the stupidest things. Again, this is the person that just said, people get too obsessed with these, minor issues and blah, blah, blah. Again, she was the victim of a crime and now turns everything into it being her weird obsession with we need to, mince people who are convicted of crimes. We need to murder the criminals. The criminals are evil scum, but we need to kill them all. To paraphrase her position, to steel man, whatever her position. But anyway, so she takes the thing about the CEO and makes it into leftists. So apparently the CEO killing means that leftists want women to be stabbed to death at bus stops. Somehow. She's a freak. She's a mutant.
Right here, but it's not that they're going on these platforms, it's that they're going on these platforms and they're trying to make nice with people who are literally trying to destroy not only democracy, because some people don't care about democracy.
She might have an element of PTSD, that's true, but I mean, there are healthy ways of dealing with PTSD and there are very, very, very unhealthy ways of dealing with it. She has chosen the latter.
I do, but they're also actively trying to destroy the lives of 20 million of the migrant working class, right? Let's not talk about all the everyone they're going to, what they're doing with Obamacare, what they're doing with Social Security, what they're doing with Medicare, what they're doing with Medicaid. That's just the surface of it. The 50% of federal employees they're getting ready to boot out. You know how many black people that's going to hurt? Right, so they're going to platforms making nice with people who have the most nefarious intentions for us at the moment. And thank you for saying it the way you did, Mundell. At the precise moment when we need progressive media on lock, we need progressive media hitting on all cylinders, and we got them instead over there trying to make nice with Glenn Beck and Tim Pool and all the rest of them. For what? For why? For clicks?
Hold on. I gotta go further. And we need to clip this, what I'm about to say.
Let's go.
Okay, but
hold on. I want you to land it. I want you to land your plane. But right now, my soul is saying I gotta do this.
All right, go ahead.
As an anniversary gift to me and my wife, if you are watching this show right now and you subscribe to TYT, unsubscribe, and you need to get a paid subscription to Ben Dixon.
Yeah, man. Yeah. That's wild. I love it. Yeah. As an anniversary gift to me, unsubscribe from this bitch. You know what? Fair dues. Subscribed. Fuck yeah. Let's go. Oh, goddamn. That's fucking good. Yeah, he's based, man. Love it.
Right now.
I'll have to check out some more of his shit.
If you love land it, I want you to land your plane. But right now, my soul is saying I gotta.
What the fuck? Oh, God, I don't know why it skipped back then. Okay.
I do this.
All right, go ahead.
As an anniversary gift to me and my wife, if you are watching this show right now and you subscribe to TYT, unsubscribe, and you need to get a paid subscription to Ben Dixon. Right now.
Fuck yeah.
If you love us, if you're serious about progressive policies, and you won't just do it, you will screenshot me saying this and tag Jink in it, and Anna in it, and TYT in it, and Rebel HQ, and share it. Because progressives cannot become Kamala Harris and the Democratic Party and the establishment, because when we do that, we become unsalty. And Ben Dixon can tell you what it means when the salt of the world loses its salt.
Hang on. In this context, is salty good? I thought salty was bad. You'll have to forgive me. I am very, painfully white. Does that mean good? Because I thought salty meant like you're angry or annoyed at something. No? I don't know. Anyway, it's a bit cold, so I'm putting on a little jumper. Oh. Oh. After all, it is... Oh, God, it's 20 past midnight. Who'd have thunk it?
When the salt loses its savor. Listen, I wasn't going to directly say send your subscriptions to me, but I also ain't going to miss the blessing that Mundell set up. True. But I will say this. Wherever you send your subscriptions, I can tell you the majority report ain't moved an inch from their values.
Yeah, majority report fucking based. Honestly, the only person that comes out of TYT looking good at all is Emma Vigeland. Like, virtually every other person, and of course, well, Mondale, I guess, as well. But, very few other people come out of that looking good. Anna and Cenk are fucked. And you got people like Dave Rubin and fucking, what's his face? Jimmy Dore and all these garbage bags. It really is just Emma, I think, isn't it? Hassan to a degree, I guess.
That's good ground. You could sow a majority.
That's a very fair point.
The Vanguard, them two cool white boys over at the Vanguard.
I have to say, the Vanguard were... I fucking hated the Vanguard back in the day. They were dicks, man. What happened to them? Because they seem to have grown up a bit and, dropped this... they were MAGA communism adjacent at one point. And then, Yeah. Oh, shit, yeah, Michael Tracy, the fucking sock sniffer, worked for them. Yeah. Yeah, the Vanguard are alright. I've raided into the Vanguard now. I think they're okay. But they used to be pricks. I'll just put that out there. I'm not going to lie to nobody. They were bad. But they're cool now.
They haven't moved from their values.
Plus, right? they're young lads. I'm prepared to accept, personal growth. That's fine.
Ben Dixon. Ben Dixon.
At the expense of my own well-being, I've never moved from my values, man. I've walked away from many opportunities. Ask Sean King. I walked away before I would betray my values. We need left-leaning media now more than ever. And if TYT is not going to be that, then you need to end your subscriptions.
Yeah, the sock sniffer. He went into... I can't remember who it was. It was someone he disliked anyway. And he went into the person that they disliked was having a house viewing. They were selling their house, so people could go into their house and see what their house looked like in case they wanted to buy it, right? And he attended this thing, not intending at all to buy their house. And when he wrote about this in some form or another, and said he went into their bedroom, which is part of their house, so that's fine, whatever. And then went into the sock drawer and sniffed their socks. I mean, clean socks, but still, what the fuck is what are you doing there? That's just weird. If you've got a foot fetish or whatever, that's fine, but this is not consensual. This is fucking mental, mate. Don't do that. To be fair, Kev, when I first saw you debating Chud Logic back in the day, I thought you were a knob. To be fair, you were correct. To be fair, you were correct. I am a knob. Sometimes first impressions are correct. Hey, hello, Cosmopolitics. Are you not streaming anymore? Because I was going to raid into you. But apparently if you're in my chat, presumably you're not anymore. Also, I saw what Anna said about... We covered it a second ago, what Anna said to you on Twitter. It was fucking disgraceful. I hope you're okay. Everyone go and follow Cosmopolitics, and if you've got a spare $1 or two, throw them that way. They're good people.
And send it to folks who going to hold the line, who's going to look at these fascists in their face and say, if you're going to take anybody, take me first. That's the only attitude to have right now.
Hold on. There's only one thing I have to say, man. I'm not even trying to go against anything that's going on. We need to talk about the attitude of how we got here.
Oh, she is still streaming. Oh, hello. Well, welcome in. Everyone go and follow Cosmopolitics. I'll raid into you then. Oh, shit. Okay, well, I will still raid into them then later when I'm done, which isn't probably too far away at this point.
And I'm asking that question for a reason. How did we get to a point where people with siding with people who want to like
Marcus,
make
you
it
know,
easy?
you went to
Rohack, that's good. The Dave Rube incubator. Solid work. Nice.
Florida A&M, one of the, if not the smartest. I don't care what people say. And I went to 2 HBCUs and none of them were FAMU. One of the smartest historical black colleges. You know why Harriet Tubman had a gun.
Second Amendment rights. She was enthusiastic about the Second Amendment, which technically didn't apply to her as a black person in America at the time, but you know, for terms of surface reasons, we'll just go with that.
It won't just be white folks. It was for them Negroes that was supposed to be running with us that were willing to go back, and their feet were hurting.
Oh yeah, Master got chicken cooking tomorrow.
Look, because think about it. If you really, thank you for setting it up just like that. Think about it. Like her one gun wasn't going to do a whole lot against all the white guns that would have came up against her. But you know what it did? It solved the problem of them Negroes who was a problem trying to get free. There's always going to be a subset of us, whether it's in the black community, we got them in the black community. The same folks who sold us out on the west coast of Africa in the first place, same folks who sold out Harriet Tubman in the first place, all these people in our history, they in present today.
Hold on, Ben, I'm busy right now. Hold on, Ben, I'm busy right now. Do you, Ben, I'm asking you questions directly. Do you have a paid subscription like TYT, a website where people can go? Because it's time out. I'm saying, I'm calling time out, and people should know I have no financial gain from Ben Dixon. I get no money from Ben Dixon. I do get money from TYT. Do you have a website where people can go for get subscriptions? And we need more from you. We need more content. We need you putting up more progressive voices. It is time out for people that are willing to sell us out. We got to tell them, not on our watch. Amy Goodwin can't do it by herself.
If you want to platform a mediocre white boy from England, the Kev's right here. I'm just saying.
Democracy now is not enough. It's not enough. Subscribe.
Patreon.
I'm over it. I'm over it.
Patreon.com/the BPD show. There we are on my Patreon page. I put us up last week. Patreon.com/the BP.
Oh God, Anna, what are you doing? The right allows freedom of thought and discussion, whereas the left acts like a cult and doesn't allow dissent. Why I left the left.jpg. Cool. Try criticising Trump, Anna. Try criticising Trump in any way whatsoever and see how friendly your new right-wing chums are and how much they love freedom of thought and discussion. Enjoy your grift, bitch.
ED show. And I mean, listen, high key, you're gonna get some high quality stuff.
I can't lie to y'all, man. I'm so like saw your post, Mondale, about like the TYT folks, man, Sync and Anna, but I haven't watched it, and I'm gonna do my research because, like, to be honest with you, it just fundamentally doesn't make any sense for anybody to be an ally of us. I'm not a group think. First off, guys, anybody watching clickbaity political thirst trap, I am not a group thinker. I think on my own as a grown-ass man, right? And I am fundamentally...
I don't. I get my talking points from George Soros because he pays me to think nothing. consume. Buy all of the shit you don't need at the shop. Give in.
Mentally surprised that these.
There's no way. Like, this is the thing. Like, I've been offered, sponsorships and stuff, and they're mainly from shit companies. But whatever. Like, even if there was a company that I was okay with, like, giving advertising to, I'm shit at selling stuff. I can't even fucking sell my own shit. Like, I can't get people. Well, thank you to everyone who does subscribe. But like, I'm not the most convincing person. Who's gonna trust me? Like, buy this product. It's not shit. Honest. Like, I can't fucking do that. I ain't a salesman.
These two who have championed a lot of issues, even of race, that would
sniffy poop.
Kind of dismiss.
Great timing. Thank you, anonymous gifter. I love the anonymous gifters. Much love to you. Yeah, I got Hello Fresh. Yeah, was one of them. I don't think... Did I get Raid Shadow Legends? Maybe. I don't know. Sometimes these companies email you with, like, hello, respected content creator. Oh, fuck off. Mugs.
A whole movement? I'm not even gonna lie, but if it really happened, that shit is problematic. So, go ahead. No, go ahead.
No, because here's what it is, though. It's the fact that there's a couple things. If you watch the main show, you're still going to get some decent progressive politics, right? You're going to get enough progressive politics for you to not really be completely aware of what's going on. If you listen to Anna and Jank on social media, on Twitter, on their Instagrams, if you listen to their little videos, if you listen to the interviews that they're doing in other places, you see them actively making nice with the very people who are going to be destroying this country in a very short order. And they're doing it. And they're doing it. Go ahead.
Being what you said, I'm announcing right now, I will do no more work. I don't know why. Something just said, I will do no more work with TYT, though. In its current capacity, I will create
bro.
No more content. I will be on no more shows. It's over for me. Like, something just told me I have to say that, and I need to put it on Twitter. I need to text Jink and Anna. Y'all can't call me for no more shows. I'm done with it.
What?
Yeah, in real life.
Are you serious?
I'm serious.
Damn, that's 100.
I love Dr. Richie. Somebody said, "What about Dr. Richie?" That's the only reason I have. That's the only reason I have tears in my eyes, because I love Dr. Richie.
Shout out to Dr. Richie.
I love Dr. Richie more than I love the ground that I feel that I need to stand on in this point. And Dr. Richie is a super strong will and will be successful in everything. He got 1 million jobs for a reason. But this right now is me saying, I can voice TYT in his current iteration. And if it means I'm never going to be in relationship with those people again, I accept that. But it's over at this point.
Damn.
Yeah.
All right. So let me lighten the mood real quick. The state of Oklahoma decided that they want to make sure that a lawmaker in Oklahoma, I think you have this, Ben. A lawmaker in Oklahoma decided that he wanted to enforce praying for Donald Trump.
Jesus fucking Christ. What was the Bible thing about before the end times there will be false believers who offer you false prophets? I'm reminded of that. Thank you, Andy Carter, for gifting memberships on the YouTube. Much fucking love to you. You people are the fucking absolute shiz. Very much in favour.
As a mandatory religion in the state of Oklahoma. Do you have that? You have that article?
Yeah. I'm gonna pull this up one second.
I don't want to minimize what you just said. Hey, clickbait viewers, guys. Mayor Mondale. I'm sorry, my brother. Mayor Mondale makes like real serious moves for his people. So I think y'all need to like listen to that right there. If Mondale is off that, it probably should be off that. So I'm automatically off that, bruh. I don't know what made like how hard you feel about it, but that's That's strong, man.
Yeah, Mundell, I got one, man. One, I want to thank you for having. I mean, I always knew you were a principal brother, but if there's nothing else I know about y'all two brothers on the screen, y'all are some principal brothers, just as principled as I am, and that's why we rock together. It's also why we fell apart, but then we came back because we were like, we're gonna keep it 100, right? We no matter what, we always kept it 100 with each other, and now we're here. And what you just did, man, it speaks volumes because here's the nuance, y'all. This is what I need people to realize. You gotta recognize when the ship is.
Did I say thank you to Andy Carter for the YouTube bits? I can't remember. Or the YouTube memberships. I don't know. I'm bad at this. Like I said, I'm bad.
Turning directions.
Shimon.
You can't wait till it has completely turned directions. TYT is shifting. It is shifting because the captain and the co-captain are shifting. Jake and Anna are shifting, and they're doing the same thing that all of these other people. Glenn Greenwald did the same thing. I don't
know. The false prophet is introduced as the second beast who emerges from the earth and allies with the Antichrist, the first beast. The false prophet performs signs and wonders to convince people to worship the Antichrist. That isn't exactly what I meant, but I appreciate the biblical reference nonetheless.
I don't know if y'all know Glenn Greenwald and from the Intercept, but Glenn Greenwald used to be safely on the left with,
and now he's a right-wing freak.
Progressive politics, and then he slowly but surely started floating out all of these right-wing talking points, and now he's fully aligned with the fascists on the right.
Yep.
TYT is headed in that direction, not because of John Iadarola, not because of Dr. Rashad Ritchie, not because of the staff, not because of JR, none of them. It's because of Jank and Anna. And they have made they've made the decision that this is the direction that they want to take their company. And so, folks can stay there and wait until it's already fully fleshed out and it's already fully manifested. Or you could see what's happening right now and take a principled stand. And that's what Mundell just did. So I salute you, brother, and I pray.
Yeah, same. Absolutely. It's easy. Like, I understand the pull of the finance of it. Like, there's a lot more money to be made in right-wing grifting. I assure you. As a leftoid in these spaces, I can assure you that the right make considerably more bank out of this. Because it's fucking, all of the money's with, like, Peter Thiel and people like that, right? So I get that. I get the pull of that. But, like, if people who aren't prepared to sell out, that's worth, I think, just a little tip of the cap. Gotta run. Thanks for following. Yeah, thank you, winners and losers. Everyone go and follow winners and losers on YouTube. It does solid work exposing all of this.
Plenty of opportunities for you to I know you're not, hurting or wanting for anything, but also for your voice to just be heard. And so I pray that doors open up for you so that your voice could go even further than what it went with TYT.
Man, we opening up them doors for them.
Well, so I do want to say I do want to say one thing because, like, I was on mute because I was having a conversation with my wife over here because I didn't run that by her. You know what I'm saying? Like, this is our household, and you know what I'm saying? She just looked at me and she like, hell yeah, I'm cool with it. You know what I'm saying? Because she know who I am. She know who I am.
She's a keeper.
And a lot of the times, I put on that monument. I didn't run it past my wife. I told her, don't be in North Carolina the day I did that, and she wasn't there, and I just went there and did it. And I didn't tell her I was gonna do it. So sometimes I do shit that affects both me and my wife without asking her, not because I'm sexist or I want to show up in that manner, but because I feel like I can't look at her in the face if I'm lying to me. So I'm glad you're not upset.
That's fucking beautiful, man. That's fucking beautiful. I love that shit. That's proper. Yeah.
Thank you, Sister Mundell. Thank you, Sister Robinson.
Hey man, hold on. Mundell, bro, on the real, as a person who knows you, man, I didn't know that shit meant so much to you. I didn't. I'm a little awestruck that you would do that, especially after our last show, right? So I guess you know me. So are there people at the network? Yeah, because you told me to have conversations straight up, right? Are there people at the network? They're gonna mess with you. Is this gonna be a thing? Like, do you see that? Like, do you foresee issues? Like what? Like after this kind of like statement, what happens? Because TYT is a big thing, and sinking out.
Yeah, they can fuck you up in these media spaces, definitely.
Are powerful people. You know what I mean?
They ain't that powerful. I mean, come on. Like, I mean, no. Let me be quiet. Mondale, you speak.
I think for me, you know, I mean, we watched, all three of us, you two with me, have been through it. Y'all.
Oh, Bad Lefty, who is in my chat. Look at that. Bad Lefty, you bastards. I'm not crying, you're crying. I see you, Bad Lefty. I see you. It was beautiful. It was.
Y'all were there. Through COVID, through all that stuff. And I mean, somebody's probably gonna say something, somebody at the internet, they're gonna have something to say, all of them. You know what I'm saying? And there are people over there that I have relationships with, right? Rashad Richie, they're on the screen right now, actually. JR, John, and Francesca. But at what expense?
Bad Lefty is Bay. True. No, good luck to them. So, yeah, that was fucking beautiful, man. Yeah, God bless you. God bless all of them. Go and check out Benjamin Dixon. Go and check out all of those people. Mondale. Was it the Vanguard? Majority Report. Go and check out all of those people. We need more eyes on lefty content creators and voices and things. Fuck yeah. Anyway, I'm gonna fuck off for the evening. I'm done. I've been going. How long have I been going? Nearly 4 hours. Okay. Anyway, which like I moan about well, not moan, but like I say, I've been going 4 hours. Like Hassan does like 11, 12 hour streams like it's nothing. That guy's a fucking machine. Anyway, who is going on YouTube? I can send everyone. I will be going to Cosmopolitics on Twitch, but I don't think they do YouTube. So I will. I'll check who's going on the YouTubes. The Young Turks are going on YouTube, but they can literally eat my fucking asshole. I don't know who that person is. President Sunday is probably, I think, the best person going right now. So I'll send you over there. Everyone go and follow President Sunday, who's, you know, good peeps. Much love. On Twitch, we're going over to Cosmopolitics. I don't even need to fucking check. I don't need to check that shit. Yeah. Let's ride into them. Go and show them some love. They have been genuinely affected by Anna Kasparian being a piece of shit and poor shaming them. So go and check them out. Say nice things to them. Can I ask, I don't generally ask this, but can we all think of a nice thing to say? Like, Cosmopolitics, you're awesome, or something like that, right? Some nice, cool thing to say. So when I raid into them, we've got like a series of nice comments for them. Just pleasant, awesome things. I think that would be fucking cool. So if you're going to stick around, that would be nice. Anyway, if you've got a spare dollar or a million, if you've got a spare $1 million, you're not watching me, but you get the idea. If you've got any spare change, you can help Christina, who is a good person in difficult times. Anyway, I'll be back tomorrow with No Justice. We'll be on, I think, 8 p.m. UK time, which is 3 p.m. on the East Coast of America. To do some preamble stuff and then get into question time. Thank you all for listening and watching. Thank you so much for all of your support. Much love. No pasaran.